And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank you for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. Shout out to Kyrie Irving for standing up for what he believes in and not backing down to the mob, wanting him to bend over backwards to do all kind of things because of a movie that he posted. The same movie that was shown at one of Shaquille O'Neal's New Jersey-owned theaters. The same Shaquille O'Neal who lashed out on Kyrie, called him an idiot for posting it. He's an idiot for posting it, but you're not an idiot for showing it at your theater. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, this whole Paul Pelosi thing. Shout out to the hammer emojis in the chat. I see it already. Shout out to you, Kate. I see the hammer emojis. The Paul Pelosi story makes no sense. And NBC covered up their own reporting on it because of how sensitive it is. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Also, what's going on with MSNBC and their ridiculous hosts? Talking about Florida crazy, talking about Ron DeSantis crazily. Talking about you, the average everyday normie American, as I am as well. I'm a normie American too. You and I guess, don't know about inflation. We don't know what that means. We're not really that intelligent to understand that word. Also, shout out to Elon Musk exposing Twitter employees and more. We'll get into on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you enjoy what you are hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. We got quite a few topics on deck for tonight. Oh man, that Paul Pelosi thing, that Paul Pelosi story is an October surprise. Although it's November, it's an October surprise. That's a huge story right now. We're going to get into that a little bit later. We'll get into Kyrie Irving and the MS-13 DNC host. We'll get into all those things in a moment. Elon Musk, that's a really big story as well. I might start off with Elon Musk in a minute, but of course, first, let's get to the sponsors. Y'all know how I do. And again, shout out to all the hammer emojis in the chat. It's going to be a whole lot more of those. But shout out to my particular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. They can't censor that website at all because it's mine. I could put whatever I want on there as long as I'm not breaking the law, as long as I won't go to the federal penitentiary or anything of that sort. I could put whatever I want on that website because it's mine. I own it. AnthonyBLogan.com. Y'all check it out right now today. Links will be in the box. Also go to ABLmerch.com. That is ABLmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more all on the website, whatever you need right now today, ABLmerch.com. Also, if you want the beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me, go to BHEdesigns.com. That is BHEdesigns.com. Links will be in the box. Also, go to patriotpost.us, the best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. And everything that I'm talking about right now will be where? You guessed it, in the description box below. Also, you're listening to a podcast right now, and we're recording live on the YouTubes, but it'll be available tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And if you listen to me right now on your favorite audio streaming platform, can I get a 5-star rating? Can I get a review? Can you just hook me up with something to let everyone know that this is the best podcast on these internets? Y'all do that for me. I'd be forever indebted to you. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to repay you. I don't got no money because, Kyrie Irving and them. But anyway, this is a podcast. Check it out if you want to hear it without the YouTube bandwidth and the video, audio only. It'll be available. Shout out to all the truckers. Shout out to everybody that's got to be on the road. Whatever you're doing, thank you for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you. Now, where do I start? There's so much going on. There's so much happening. Oh, and before I continue, once you go to my website, anthonyblogan.com, you can find articles for whatever I write. So if you have a question about anything that I produce, because I saw some of that in the comments on the Paul Pelosi thing, I don't read very many comments because there's so many. I can't, I can read some comments, but proportionately, I can't really read that many, right? If I'm getting 10,000 comments on a video, I might read 100. That's a lot of comments, but is it really when you're looking at 10,000 comments? But anyway, I saw some of the comments. People were saying, hey, you're spreading misinformation. That's not real information. I don't spread misinformation. I never, ever spread misinformation. All I do is comment on what's reported. And if it's my opinion, I say, this is my opinion. This is my viewpoint. This is how I feel. Opinions cannot be false or true. They're just opinions. Now, if I say my opinion is a fact, then that's where we get into some murky business, or into some what your man Joe Biden saying, into some malarkey. But if I say it's my opinion and that's it, it's neither true or false. It's just my opinion. It's how I feel. Like if I say pineapple goes great on pizza, that's just how I feel about it. Now, you may vehemently disagree, and that's okay. That's your prerogative to do so, but your opinion is not wrong. My opinion is not wrong. It's just what? Our opinion. But we'll get to Paul Pelosi in a minute. That's going to be the main story we get into. But I think first I'm going to get into Elon Musk. Now, your man Elon Musk has purchased Twitter and has already been sweeping changes. Remember I told you guys the image of the fact check? Or, you know, what's funny about the fact check that I posted? So I put the fact check that the White House received on their tweet after they tweeted it. After they got this fact check, it actually deleted their tweet. I posted that screenshot on Facebook, and then that screenshot got fact checked by Facebook. So it just tells you the difference between one fact check and the other fact check. All right. You got Facebook fact checking fact checks. I'm putting it up on the screen right quick so you can see what I'm talking about here. All right. Now, here it is. Let me just do it this way so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you see what's going on here? So let's get some context. So the White House put up a tweet talking about inflation. Well, pardon me. I'm getting ahead of myself. The tweet the White House put up was talking about seniors are getting their biggest increase in Social Security checks in 10 years through President Biden's leadership. That's the tweet the White House put up, right? So they're looking at the increase in the benefits given to seniors as a good thing. The biggest in 10 years. It's a great thing, an accomplishment for the Biden administration, giving seniors more money. But then there's context, or what you would call a fact check, added to this by Twitter. This is a brand new thing done under Elon Musk. Now, you see what it says right here. Okay, readers added context they thought people might want to know. And it says seniors will receive a large Social Security benefit increase due to the annual cost of living adjustment, which is based on the inflation rate. President Nixon in 1972 signed into law automatic benefit adjustments tied to the consumer price index. So basically, what this means is, in layman's terms, since inflation is so high, we'll talk about that specific word in a minute, inflation. Since inflation is so high, they automatically raised up how much seniors get in their checks for SSI, whatever it is. Now, Facebook fact checked me on this. You see this right here? This is an overlay over my image I posted on Facebook. It says, missing context. The same information was checked in another post by independent fact checkers. You see what I'm saying? So you see how Twitter is already much better than most of these social media platforms. Better than Facebook, Instagram, all these places. They're already doing better when it comes to fact checking, putting things in context. It's not one-sided. When you're looking at most fact checks on Facebook and prior to Elon, pre-Elon era Twitter, when you're looking at fact checks, it's one-sided. It's to favor the left politically and socially and to go against the right. That's how it is. But now it's more of an even thing. And I think Elon Musk is going to be a middle of the road kind of character. Some may want him to be conservative and be on our side totally, but I don't see that happening. What I see happening is that Elon Musk is going to be right in the center, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I just want things to be fair. I don't want him to be my guy necessarily. If he was my guy, quote unquote, and did everything that I wanted him to do, that'd be fantastic. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want a guy that's in their corner 100%? If you're going into the foxhole, you want that guy that's right on your side to be on your side completely. But that's not how this is going to work on Twitter, because it's not just for us on the right. It's for everyone, left, right, center, politically agnostic, normies, non-normies, and everybody else. So you got to be right in the center. I appreciate that from Elon Musk, as long as it's fair for both sides. And we don't just have one-sided type of quote unquote justice or censorship, or when you put context on the thing, give me the whole situation, right? But anyway, going back to what I was talking about as far as Elon Musk, he's making changes already for the better. And one change he's going to do is the whole Twitter verification badge. Now, you know what the Twitter verification badge is. Let's go back right here. It's a prime example on the White House tweet, right? Okay, I removed the little fact check thing on it. So you see right here next to the White House, it's this little blue check right beside the name. So the blue check represents verification. So this is the White House's official Twitter page. Now, there's a process you got to go through to become verified. I've tried it before. Years ago, I tried to get verified. I'm like, okay, I'm a big dog. I got a big YouTube channel. They're going to verify me. But of course, I was not, verified. And to their credit, I'm not a celebrity, nor am I like an official journalist for the mainstream media. So, and I don't have a really big Twitter following. I have a decent Twitter following, but not that big to where they're going to say, okay, you're not X, Y, and Z, but you got a big Twitter following. We'll approve you. Regardless of what, I didn't get approved. But if you are a political person, like let's say AOC or Donald Trump, or you're a musician, Kanye West, Taylor Swift, whoever it is, you will get your badge normally without having to do any kind of extra stuff. Okay? You go through the process, send on your ID, send them any kind of documents they need, and then they'll verify you. And it shouldn't be any money attached to it. This is pre-Elon now. But see, here's what happened. Twitter employees were allegedly selling verification badges for a nominal fee. So let's go to Wall Street Bets, shall we? Remember Wall Street Bets from Reddit? Remember the whole GameStop, AMC kerfuffle? Wall Street Bets was in the mix of that. Wall Street Bets has a really big Twitter platform of almost 900,000 followers. So they're a really big platform. They're very well known. They've been mentioned on Fox and ABC, MS13, DNC. They've been mentioned everywhere. They have very popular posts that have been all over the mainstream media due to the whole GameStop situation and a few more things, but mostly GameStop. So that platform should be approved. It shouldn't be any funny business going on. But see, since they're not politically tied in, they're not tied into a guy at Twitter directly. Like it's not their cousin or the boyfriend or the husband or the girlfriend. Since they're not that, then it gets kind of weird. Now we getting into the corruption. Now we getting into the pay for play. Now we getting into the I'm on a road in Mexico somewhere and I get the cab driver to pull over and be like, hey, I need some money before we can continue here. where are we going? I need money right now. And not just a cab fare, but I need money just for me. And to talk about that right quick, the whole bribing thing, that is kind of common once you leave the U.S. In the U.S. as well, it's common. You want to get into a nightclub and the bouncer's like, no, bro, we're full. We're to capacity, bro. You give him a little handshake, a little $40. You might be able to go ahead and just move right on in. It won't be any more capacity situation. It won't be no more fire marshal excuse. You'll be able to get right past the crowd and go to where you want to go if you grease some palms. But over at Twitter, they're doing it to a much higher rate. They were charging some guys $15,000 US for one verification badge. I've also heard $12,000, $26,000 for one badge to get verified. Let me see if I can pull up the tweet right quick, okay? Because this was a thread going back and forth between people. Hold on, let me just pull it up right quick. Now, there was a thread, and I'll put it on the screen. Of course, it's on my website as well, anthonyblogan.com. But the thread starts off with this person, Billy M2K. I have no idea who that is, but that's not really relevant for what I'm going to talk about right now. This person says, I'll just be straight up. I don't think the $8 for verification feature is a good idea based on what I'm hearing about its implementation. I don't think it solves any problem it is trying to solve. Too many big changes too quickly can terminally destroy a platform. See, dig. So this person is saying that Elon Musk's plan of charging $8 a month for the badge is a bad idea, right? The thread continues, and here comes Elon Musk into the chat. He says far too many legacy, quote, verified check marks were handed out, often arbitrarily. So in reality, they are not verified. You can buy as many as you want right now with the Google search. So I think what that means is if you have an account that got a verification badge randomly, arbitrarily, or early, or whatever it is, you can sell that account to somebody. You can literally sell the account and they can just rebrand it with whatever they want. So let's say you're a journalist, right? And WXYZ 123 TV station in Podunkville, USA. And since you're a journalist with a real news station that's on television, you're able to get a badge. Well, what if you decide to go become a dog walker for a living, or you decide to go smoke crack for a living, and you say, you know what, I don't want to be a journalist anymore. I don't need my Twitter account anymore. You still got a verified page. You can sell that for a profit, okay? Go on Google, put it on there, on a website, you can sell it, and then now whoever buys it is now verified. You see how that works? So they can do that, and there's no real way to stop that. So what Elon Musk is saying is like, look, okay, rather than having that go on, let's have it be a paid feature. So if you are not in the business anymore and you don't need your account anymore, you're going to have to actually pay to have that feature. So it cuts down on trolls and bots and ridiculous nonsense from happening. Okay. It makes sense. $8 a month is not really a big deal. You go to Starbucks and pay $8 for your venti mocha cuppa latte. Ain't no big deal, right? Now, he goes on to say, piggybacking off payment system plus Apple Android is a much better way to ensure verification. That's what Elon Musk says. Now, here comes Wall Street Bet's chairman. He says Twitter employees were selling verification for upwards of $15,000, not $1,500, not $150, $15,000, 15,000. For certain accounts, mine included, they would refuse to verify you through the standard application and then privately offer to verify you for money behind the scenes. Investigation needed. So they would see application come in. You be a regular normie trying to just, okay, I'm Wall Street Bets. I got 1 million followers. All right, let me go ahead and get verified, right? Let me go ahead and just make this happen. Okay. But they see you come in, it's like, nah, he has a pretty big account. We should verify him, but let's not do that. Let me just take this off of the official channel and get him directly on the DM. I'm gonna try to call him on the telephone, on my regular, on my personal cell phone. It was like, is this Wall Street Bets chairman? Yeah, this is Alex. I work at Twitter. I saw your application coming through the mail, but look, we're not gonna do that normal way of getting you through there because there's so much red tape and nonsense. Check it out. You know what I could do for you? I can verify you in 2 weeks. Give me $15,000. Give me $12,000. Give me $26,000 and it'll be guaranteed. Okay, I'm gonna DM you right now. I got a blue check. I work at Twitter. Trust me, believe me, right? I DM you right now so you know it's me. That's what they were doing. So people are saying that it's unfair to pay $8, but what's fair about applying to be verified when you should be verified? You get denied, and then you get a call talking about, yeah, give me $20,000 right now, I'll verify you. That's kind of like extortion, ain't it? That's kind of like gatekeeping, extortion, and then there's the political stuff behind it. So if I don't want to verify you because I don't like you at all, I'm going to just ignore you. It's not even about, are you a real person? Are you reputable? Are you a journalist, a television person, a political person? They're not going to verify you because they don't want to verify you. I know some politicians that should be verified who are not. Let me see if I can find somebody who is a well-known person who should be verified but is not. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I thought MTG wasn't verified. Let me see. I'm not really sure. There's a few who are not verified that should be. So that's going to just cut all that out. And then Elon Musk, as it relates to this whole thing about 15,000, Elon agrees and says, yep. Says it right there. Yep, that's what's going on. And then Chairman says, most people are upset about being able to pay $8 for verification are upset because they paid the 15,000. Far more people paid for verification than you would think. Whoever was running the operation must have made it a killing. Absolutely. 100%. Leo Terrell's not verified. Hold on, let me check that right quick. So here's some DMs right here. Okay, here's some DMs from people that work at Twitter, allegedly. Okay. I got to connect that Twitter. Everything is frozen right now. So this is kind of how it is. You know, look, 15,000 US dollars for Instagram, payment later. So not only is it Twitter, but also Instagram, Facebook, a lot of places is pay for play. So you think, like a lot of people you would think would be verified aren't, it's because they're not playing the game. If they pay $10,000, 15,000, then they're able to get verified. That's how that works. You got to grease some palms in the real way. That's what's going on. So when you see guys in the club, like, how did he get in here? What's going on? Because he paid to get in there. That's what's happening. Now we're starting to see behind the curtain. And I like that Elon Musk is exposing this, because if Elon was not there, you probably would never hear about it, because the thing is, you got to have these things verified by someone on the inside. And if everybody's involved with it on the inside, if corruption is widespread, who's going to blow the whistle and say that's going on? And are they going to be believed? We've seen plenty of guys come on Project Veritas and whistle blow, say what's going on, and they're not believed until it's too late, until something bad happens. That's what goes on. But now we have Elon Musk saying this is going on. So you guys tell me this. What's the better way to go about this verification program? For it to be kind of random and arbitrary, maybe you got to know somebody that knows somebody who knows somebody. Maybe you got to be a political person on the left, especially. Maybe you have to pay a bunch of money. Or let's let it be fair. If you are somebody, if you have a big name, a following, or you're a journalist or a TV, something like that, if you got that going on, then maybe what should happen is you should go through the process, be treated fairly, get your badge, and then you just pay the $8 a month. What makes more sense? $8 a month, or not getting approved at all because you're a political person, they don't like you, or having to pay the $20,000. It's pretty simple. Let me see if I can find Leo Terrell. Yeah, Leo Terrell's not verified. Leo Terrell's not verified, and he has 1.3 million followers. Now, Leo Terrell is a real journalist, a broadcast host, an anchor, an attorney, civil rights attorney, podcast host. He's on Fox News almost every single day, okay, as an actual paid contributor, not just some guy that appears on there randomly. He has 1.3 million followers and not verified. Why? Ask yourself why. They don't like him, number one, and number two, he didn't pay. So if they don't like you, then it becomes, all right, all you got to do is pay your money, then you're good. But he didn't play the game. Yeah, Leo, if he was Leo 1.0, the liberal guy, then it'd be fine. But Leo 2.0, and you've seen guys when they do certain things people don't like, they lose their verification badge. That's a punishment right there. You see what I'm saying? So Elon Musk is really revealing a lot of what goes on behind the scenes, not only at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. TikTok is the absolute worst. Absolute worst when it comes to stuff like that. I put a video on TikTok that kind of went viral a little bit. And all it was let me see if I can find it right quick. Matter of fact, I might have put it on my Instagram as well. But the video, I didn't make any commentary on it. It was 10 seconds long. And all it was Joe Biden speaking to one of those LGBTs. Okay, that's all it was. And then they had Hasbullah, the little short guy over in Middle Eastern short guy. He was on there making faces, and that was it. I'll put it on the screen right quick. Hold on. So this video right here got blocked, and then I had to appeal it, and then they brought it back. They said it was like hate speech or something like that. But that's TikTok, the absolute worst. Here's what I put on my TikTok.
Do you think states should have a right to ban gender-affirming health care?
I don't think any state or anybody should have the right to do that. As a moral question and as a legal question. I just think it's wrong.
So that was it. It was 10 seconds long. One more time, if you didn't hear the first part. And if you have headphones on, RIP to headphone users at the very beginning. I know it was kind of loud because it was loud for me too. Sorry.
Do you think states should have a right to ban gender-affirming health care?
I don't think any state or anybody should have the right to do that. As a moral question and as a legal question. I just think it's wrong.
So that was it. That's all I put on there. And it's like you got to battle through censorship and all kind of just weird stuff. That's social media for you. But you know the reason why it matters so much, the reason why people would pay the money, $15,000, $20,000, they'll pay that money because social media is very, very, very valuable. Very valuable. You can, like, if you got a big following on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., TikTok even, you can make a living off of just having the following, not even really producing that much content, just having the big following, make a little bit of content. You got brand deals, sponsorships. There's so much money in that. It'll make you kind of be like, wow, really? Now, I got to have a lot of sponsorships. I have some sponsorships, some brand stuff, but not very many. I get emails I get emails all day long about, okay, sponsor this, sponsor some knives, sponsor this mobile app, this video game, sponsor this, sponsor that. And a lot of guys that have big followings take all those deals and they're just racking it up. They make so much money off of the sponsorship deals that it's relevant and they don't get paid. They can make $0 from Twitter.com itself as far as being paid by the platform Twitter. They can make no money on there, but it don't matter because they got so many brand deals and sponsorship deals that they eat off of that. They eat from the advertisers directly rather than through Twitter.com or YouTube.com. So to pay $15,000 would be nothing to them. It's an extortion. It's a racket. And Elon is here to not have these employees put that money in their pocket from charging for verification. He's putting it into the pocket of Twitter so he's able to stop losing the $4 million per day. $4 million per day that Elon is losing over at Twitter. Well, I won't say Elon's losing it. I'm going to say Twitter.com is losing it. I don't know about Elon. Elon might say, you know what, y'all losing money. That's not my company. I'm out. That could be what's going on. But anyway, so hopefully this whole thing goes through and we stop the corruption of extorting blue checks out of regular normie citizens. That's not how we should go about it. It shouldn't be if you're politically inclined, you get stuff for free. You could just skip the line. But if you're not politically inclined and you don't know X, Y, and Z guy over at this particular social media platform, then you got to pay a big amount of money. That shouldn't be the way it is. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Now, the thing about it is it won't be, just to be clear, it won't be that everybody pays the $8 a month. It'll only be if you're going to be verified. And most people will not be verified. Mostly everybody else is just a common person, and you're just going to be reading Twitter, scrolling Twitter. You're not going to be verified, so it wouldn't be for you. You see what I'm saying? So some people say that it's a bad thing because you're charging people to use Twitter. That's not what's going on. If you want to be verified and you can pass the verification, then you would pay for the verification, not to use Twitter.com itself. That's a different thing. So I want to be clear on that. But I'll move right along. Okay. Are my vids pushing sponsors? Oh, yeah. I mean, I have ads on my video, but I don't put the ads there. That's YouTube putting ads there. I don't put ads on my video. I don't even see ads anymore. I have YouTube Red, YouTube Premium, whatever they want to call it, is a great investment. $20 a month. Not only do I get ad-free videos, I also get YouTube Music. So when I'm driving, I can just pick a song and it'll play the song and then a playlist of whatever song that's kind of like linked to it. And I could just ride out with that. No commercials, high quality audio of whatever I want. $20 a month. I can't beat it. So for me, it's a great value. I get ad-free videos. I can play the video in the background while I'm doing other things on my phone, multitasking, and then I get YouTube Music as well as a bonus. So $20 a month is a great value for me personally. You know, especially when I do this right here, because if I'm on a live stream and I got to play a video for you guys on YouTube an ad in a way is just not what I want you to see. I want you to see the video clearly without any kind of interruption. And if you have audio only, I don't want to have an ad for I don't know, Ralph's Burgers or Tom and Jerry's Wing Shop getting in the way of a video about Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi. But anyway, I digress. I'll talk about Nancy and Paul in a moment, but let's skip to the next topic here. Let's talk about MS13DNC and the host talking about, you guys don't know what inflation is. You guys are too ignorant. You guys are too dumb to understand what that word means. Now, is inflation a really hard word to understand? Do we not know what inflation is? Is that a hard thing to understand? I think that's a pretty easy word, a pretty easy concept to grasp. All right. So check it out. Here's Joy Reid talking about the whole thing. Let me see if I can put that on the screen for you guys right quick. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. And let's go ahead and play it. Let's not have the ear bursting sound.
The people I ever hear use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk. So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Yeah. Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word, and they sort of wrap this word around whatever it is that they really want to vote, the reasons they really want to vote. The people I ever heard
Now, I mean, I think what's going on here is that she wants people to not use the word inflation because it's going to get in the way of what they want to do on the left. You see, inflation is a really big problem, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows that inflation is causing people to shift their vote from left to right. It's a big shift. That's all, like, what they say, white suburban soccer moms, white suburban women, not soccer moms necessarily, but white suburban women are going like a 15%. It's like a 15% toward Republican versus Democrat. Like a 28 or something % shift because they were in favor of the Democrats and then it shifted to be in favor of the Republicans, like a 20 something point shift in their political affiliation just over the summertime, like August, September, something like that, like right around that time. And the big part of the reason why is because of inflation. This is not a hard word to understand. Okay, you know how to inflate a balloon. You know what inflation means when it comes to what's going on. You know, when you go to the store, that things cost more. You know that you're going to pay a lot more money for your food, clothing, shelter, gasoline, everything is costing more. We know that. It doesn't take a Republican to tell us, hey, when you go to the store, things cost more. It's like, well, you don't say, you know, I do have to buy food. I do have to buy gas. I do have to live in the world. And I know that things cost more. So she's trying to make that be an elitist issue. Not a thing that you should worry about. Don't worry about that because they made that up on the right. You don't worry about that. You just vote for us. Don't worry about inflation or the economy in general. Just vote for us. Okay, you want to kill your baby? You want to be able to have abortion still? Vote Democrat. That is the message right there. But yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, them hairstyles are always crucial. Let me just get off of here right quick because these hairstyles. I don't know, man. It's like we got to do something with that hair. But anyway, that's not really relevant right now. The whole point is that we know what inflation means, but they try to act like we don't know anything, that we're just dumb people. And it's funny how she says it took Republicans to educate us about that. So let's just say she's right, and we didn't know what it means until they educated us about that. So you're upset about Republicans educating Americans about the economy, about what certain things mean, like inflation. You're mad about that? You're mad about education? Now, there was certain people back in the day who got mad, a little bit madder perhaps, if you were to become educated, if you became a reader, if you learned how to read and you became educated, they were mad at you. there was a certain group back then in the 1800s, like early 1800s, not quite late 1800s, because by this time, this thing had been eradicated and it wasn't here anymore. But early 1800s, if you knew how to read and you were educated, that was a problem. If you were a certain color of person, right? If you were a certain color of person, then it was bad if you became educated. It's the same thing going on right here. If you're a certain class of person, a certain political affiliation of person, it's bad if you become educated. That is a bad thing. That's the wrong way to go about it. Okay. But they have not changed. The Democrats have not changed. The left has not changed. All they've changed is their marketing, perhaps, their clothing, their hairstyles. Rather than the big, crazy white powdered wig, they got a little blonde wig going. Ain't no difference. Okay, rather than the white guys with the little blushy cheeks and the white powdered wig, you got this brown skinned lady with a little bob blonde wig jank on. That's what's happening. It's the same message, though. There's no difference in the message. It's the same thing. Don't become educated. Don't know how to read. We will tell you what's important. Don't worry about what they say. That's pretty weird how that goes. You want to accuse us of burning books, not educated people, trying to teach incorrect history, but here you are actively going against education about the economy, about money, about what's happening right now. And really, quite frankly, there's no need to be educated about this. We know what's going on when we go to the store. It's a pretty easy thing to understand. It's pretty simple, straightforward, 1, 2, 3. But hey, it is what it is. So it's like Holiday Heart. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. You guys in the comments are always funny. But anyway, so yeah, shout out to you guys. I thought that was pretty embarrassing how they think that we don't understand certain things like that. But that's been a common thing. That's why they keep putting out these stories and they act like we don't know what's going on. Like we can't really grasp and put 2 and 2 together. Like the whole Paul Pelosi thing, I'll get to in a minute. It's like, okay, you put a story out there. Also, what's it? The most infamous story at this point, Juicy Smouye. That story right there was crazy. We all knew what was going on with that. Right when the story came out, we're like, okay, you want us to believe that? Come on, you're reaching a little bit. You're reaching a lot of bit, actually. I'm not going to believe that. All right. So, yeah, shout out to Joy Reid and MS13DNC. Speaking about MSNBC, you also have another host from that network who got fired. And this is, what's her name? Tiffany Cross. Now, she had been there 2 years with her program called The Cross Connection or something like that. I'm not really sure what her show was called. Maybe you guys watched that show. Maybe you were fans of Tiffany Cross. If you were a Tiffany Cross fan, I'm sorry that your friend has been fired. It was a good run. It was a good run, but it's a wrap now. So Tiffany Cross has been fired, and there's a few reasons why, in my opinion. First of all, NBC is trying to clean house a little bit. They just fired Shep Smith. Remember Shep Smith from Fox News? They fired him. And matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can find a clip of Shep Smith. Shep, I don't know, is kind of a nut anyway. I'm not really sure why they hired him aside from the fact that he was over on Fox. So it's like, okay, we got your guy now. We got him now. Maybe that was the whole reason. I guess that's why. But there's a montage of him talking really crazy about what's going on. Let me see if I can find it. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. And that Shep Smith video was really nuts. He was talking about the weather and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Might not be able to find it, but I will find it eventually. So they fired Shep Smith. They're firing Tiffany Cross. And Tiffany Cross has been fired, I think, because of some things she said about Florida, Ron DeSantis, and a few more things. Now, I know I have that video. I'll put it up on the screen right quick. And let's do it this way. There's a little bit of cursing, so if you got kids, hide your wife. and I might not be able to play the video because it's Charlamagne's show. I know they operate on Comedy Central. I'll show you guys a quick screenshot of what's going on. That's Charlamagne right there, the host, and Tiffany Cross you'll hear about in a minute.
Joe, what's you? We need the culture that comes out of Florida, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Arizona's far enough away. Let it go.
Tiffany, what do you think? One's got to go.
I say Florida literally looks like the dick of the country, so let's get rid of Florida.
Very vulgar, very vulgar.
Are you saying castrate the dick of the country?
Seriously, let's castrate Florida. Here's the problem. Ron DeSantis, whatever you want to call Florida man, he is so problematic. The people there passed Amendment 4, which gave returning citizens, those formerly incarcerated, the right to vote. He instituted a poll tax. He has done everything he can to keep black and brown people from the ballot. He traffics in stupidity and ignorance, and I just think they are a problem for the rest of the country. Let's get them out of there.
So the whole thing was one got to go, right? That was the game. And the states that they could pick from out of the 4 states, it was Florida, Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. I guess the whole thing was politically like the state and their candidates for office. I'm not really sure. But in reality, Florida would be the best state out of those with Georgia right next to it. Actually, those are all pretty good. In my opinion, it would be Florida as far as from best to worst. And I'm not saying if you are not number 1, you're a bad state. I'm just saying in my order, it'd be Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania. Arizona is a good state, but the only thing about Arizona is that it's super hot all the time, except for at night sometimes, and then certain times of the year, it's not as hot. But Florida, I mean, everything is really good about it. The taxes and the weather and whatnot. You got a hurricane risk, and that's it. Georgia's a really good state, too. Just not quite on the same level as Florida, but right there. They're like 1A, 1AB. Pennsylvania, it's more of a purple state. That's the only problem. It's Philadelphia. You know, I don't see a Philadelphia anywhere in Arizona, Georgia, or Florida. Okay, so that's why they rank last to me. But she's saying Florida got to go because of Ron DeSantis. Now, you hear what she said, using a very vulgar term to describe Florida, calling Ron DeSantis Ron DeSantis stupid. But that's not the only thing that she did. This is just like the final straw. I think they wanted to get rid of her anyway. She has a very niche audience, a black female audience. That's not enough to really drive a program. You're not going to get very good ratings. You can get decent ratings, but not to the level of your competitors on other platforms. That's something. But let me go back here. So she was talking about the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Tua. Tag. I can't pronounce his last name. It's a whole bunch of G's and O's and V's and everything else. It's a lot going on there. But you see, she was talking about Tua because he had a concussion, and then they put him out there on the field like the next week, and then he got concussed again. It looked really bad. It's like, man, he might have CTE after this. He might be permanently damaged. So she was saying, well, the reason why they did that is because he's a black quarterback playing for a white coach. But Tua is not black. He may look black right here, but he's not black. He's from like Pacific Islander, that region, like Samoan, Tongan, something like that. Not black. Okay, his name, Tua Tagliova, whatever it is not black. Now, and the coach of the Dolphins is also not white. The coach of the Dolphins is Mike McDaniel. He's biracial, black and white. So you can't say he's white. You can't say Tua is black. But this is just a racist mindset and the things that she would say all the time. Now, it's kind of weird that they're trying to crack down on this because normally it's accepted. If you're racist against white people or whatever, it's totally fine. Racist against black people, if you're black and you don't like conservatives, that's totally fine. Like if you are a white person or a black person or anybody else, you could be racist against a black person if they are conservative or they appear to be conservative. For example, Herschel Walker. Look at the things they say about Herschel Walker. Oh, he's a knuckle dragging, idiot, moron, low IQ. They use every racial stereotype against Herschel Walker because he's conservative. If he was a liberal and they said that about him, it'd be considered racist, a hate crime, all that in the third. But like I say, you get a pass when the guy that is your opponent is a conservative and you're a liberal. You can say whatever you want. But anyway, all of what she's been doing over the past couple of years on the platform with MSNBC has led up to her being fired. And also, they're trying to clean house anyway. They still got Joy Ann Reid over there. I'm not sure for how long because she might be the next person out. They still got a pretty terrible roster over there, but we'll see what's going on. Oh, and your man Don Lemon got a new show, of course, on CNN, and that tanked. A morning show. It's like, man, don't nobody want to see you in the morning. Like, who's watching Don Lemon? Who watches that guy at all, let alone in the morning? If it's a primetime show, you may get views because it's primetime and they're going to watch anyway. It doesn't really matter who's right there. It's hard to tank a primetime show on a popular network if they are popular. But a daytime show, they don't like you that much to migrate from the primetime thing where they're going to watch anybody on TV to daytime to watch you with two white women. It's just kind of weird. But anyway, I digress. Is Jen Psaki there as well? I think she might be. Let me see where she's at right quick, and then I move right along. Let's see where Jen Psaki is. Let me see. I don't see her occupation right away. Oh yeah, MSNBC. So she's going to be a political analyst through the 2022 elections right now, the midterms, and also during the 2024 elections. All right. And then it's going to be a show she's going to have on the Peacock streaming service next year in 2023. So they're going to use her in spots, but she won't be a permanent fixture on the platform as far as what I'm able to see. You know, or if she is, it'll be on a streaming service, not on the regular NBC or MSNBC platform, not on regular cable TV. I'm not really sure why she wouldn't be, because who else is really going to be there? You know what I mean? Who else is going to be there? But anyway, so what else we got going on? That's that for your friend Tiffany Cross and Joy Ann Reid. Joy Ann Reid has not been fired. Tiffany Cross has been. Hey, it was a good run for those 2 years, but I'll move right along. Now, I want to get to Paul Pelosi right now. I don't want to belabor the point anymore. I want to get to Paul Pelosi right now. Now, this story is absolutely crazy. Okay. We got cover-ups. We got the mainstream media trying to just trick people. We got all kind of stuff going on. Now, check it out. The initial story was there was a home invader at Paul Pelosi's home, 2:30 in the morning, beat Paul in the head with a hammer, fractured his skull, injured his arm and his hand, and the police had to come in there, break it up. That was the original story. He didn't know him, although that was his friend named David. Okay, I don't know this guy, but he's my friend David. That was the original story. Then it came out, okay, his name David DePappy, whatever you want to say. He lives in a bus or something next to a hippie commune, and the commune or the house, whatever you want to call it, has an LGBT flag outside with weed flowers on it, and there's a sign in the window that says Black Lives Matter and Berkeley Fans Against Hate. There's all kind of leftist propaganda in this place where this guy allegedly was staying, where the federal Raleigh went and investigated. He's a nudist, homeless, illegal alien. If you are an illegal alien from Canada, probably on drugs, and a nudist, how does that equate to MAGA, QAnon extremists, ultra MAGA, super MAGA? How does that correlate to that? I'm not really sure that lifestyle correlates. I don't really see it. An illegal alien Canadian, but you live in the U.S. in Berkeley in a commune, and you're ultra MAGA. Anyway, that was the original story that we heard. He didn't know him. It was a home invasion. It was politically motivated, ultra MAGA. And if you made jokes about it, if you posted memes about it, you're insensitive. He almost died. How dare you? All this and that. Now we have new information. Now let's play the video. And this video has been removed from NBC's website. And I'm going to talk about that right quick. People were saying, because I posted on my YouTube video after I posted it, that their video that they put out has been removed from their website, meaning NBC had their report and their video up on the website where they updated it, talking about who came to the door and how long the guy was there before the police got there. That was on NBC's website. Miguel Almaguer was the journalist reporting on it. They did a whole thing, video, story, but that was removed from their website, not my website. People were saying, oh, well, you're lying. That's why they removed it. Well, what I'm doing is irrelevant. I'm talking about what they did to their own story. All right, let's go check it out. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to find an article where they actually removed it. And then we're gonna show the original, and then all right. So here we go. Wow. Okay. Washington Post. Check it out right here. Check it out. Before we get to the video, check this out. Now, this says NBC retracts erroneous Paul Pelosi story that fueled conspiracy theories. Erroneous, huh? They read documents. They had reporters. They had the police. How was it erroneous? Okay, check it out. So look, it says people at the network said the Today Show report was based on unreliable information from a source who was unnamed in the story. Huh? How does that work? So when they said that there was an unknown person who came to the door, okay, we roll with that. That's cool. But then when we named the person, oh no, because it came from an unknown source. Huh? We got to believe it was an unknown person. We don't know who it is that came to the door. That's fine. But when it's an unnamed source, the NBC trusts, then all of a sudden it's not real. NBC called their own story fake news. Maybe they got tricked. I'm not really sure what it is. I did not see a retraction, really. I saw them just remove it. See, a retraction would be something like you go on TV and say, okay, we put out the story at this time. We apologize. It was wrong information. They didn't do that. They just took it down. They took it down and then reverted back to the old story about how the guy broke in and he was there for 2 minutes or whatever, rather than the guy, quote unquote, breaking in and he was there for 1.5 hours before the police got there. So if there's a home invader with you, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. But you see what they say right here. They retracted it, but they didn't retract it. It just took it down. And they said it was based on, it was erroneous and it fueled conspiracy theories, right? So let's go back. Let's go back to the actual article here, or to the video that I have. And we do have the original. They took it down, but the internet is forever. We remember everything. We have all the video. We're not going to delete it. So check it out.
Craig, good morning. When officers arrived here at the Pelosi home exactly a week ago today, they initially didn't have any idea exactly what was going on. They knew they had a high priority call on their hand. What was unclear, what was happening inside the property just behind me.
This morning, Paul Pelosi is home, back at the house that became a crime scene a week ago today. NBC News learning new details about the moments police arrived. Sources familiar with what unfolded in the Pelosi residence now revealing when officers responded to the high-priority call, they were seemingly unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police.
So make that make sense. You know, this story makes sense because remember, the initial story was when the police got there, they observed Paul Pelosi and the suspect on the ground wrestling for a hammer, right? They got the hammer in their hand, one hammer, they're wrestling for the hammer. And then the guy takes the hammer from Paul Pelosi and beats him with it in front of the police. Now, why don't the police interrupt this before it happens? You see, if you're called for a disturbance or some kind of welfare check or whatever it is, and you see two guys on the ground wrestling for a hammer, for a weapon, you're going to try to break them up and secure the weapon. Wouldn't that make sense? Why would they wait for the guy, take their hammer, and beat him in the head? Now, all I'm doing right now is asking questions. These are legitimate questions that anybody would ask. It's a common sense type thing. if the police are called, you're going to assume they'll break up a fight if they see it right in front of them, not allow the fight to progress to the point where somebody gets beat in the head with a hammer. Because remember, from all accounts, from the new account, from the old account, the assault does not happen until after the police arrive. That was said in all accounts. There's not one account that said that they came into the house and Paul Pelosi was on the ground bleeding. That's not what happened. The assault happened afterward. So it makes more sense for Paul to have gone to the door, open the door, and then go back to the guy. It doesn't make any sense because he called the police. It's just really weird. It's so weird. So, and also there was an update after the first story that they said that it was an unknown person that came to the door. Again, here's a question. If there's a third person in the house, why aren't they breaking the fight up? Why aren't they helping Paul Pelosi? Do they live there? Do they not live there? Who was the guy? Why was he there? Was he a home invader as well? Were there two suspects? Was it one suspect? There's questions you got to ask and answer. And those questions were not asked and not answered until we have a new update where it says Paul Pelosi himself went to the door. Now, I have just one question for you guys. Just one question. Doesn't it make more sense, Paul Pelosi, to leave the house when the police get there? Why? Oh, why? Of course, what I'm watching right now on this report from NBC, why would you go to the door when the police arrive after you call them? You're afraid, using coded language. So if you have coded language and using that to call the police, then you're of sound mind to try to be slick and not say what's the problem. So I don't want to hear, oh, he's an old man. He know what was going on. Well, he was using coded language allegedly, right? So if you can use coded language and call the police when you're in distress, then you know, okay, when the police get there, it's time to roll out. They got my back. They got the guns. He didn't have a gun. He has a hammer in his hand. So gun versus hammer, we're going to win. I'm out of here right now. I'm going to fall into the police's arms and we're good to go. But rather than going out to the police, he allegedly went back to the attacker, to the so-called home invader. And allegedly the guy was there for 1.5 hours before the police arrived. But Paul Pelosi did not get attacked until the police got there. So what were they doing for the half hour before the police arrived? Didn't I say from the jump that might have been his boy he called over? His boy, if you understand what I'm saying. They might have been playing hot the sausage or something like that. Sword fighting. Y'all know what's going on. That's my opinion. Don't nobody try to say, oh, misinformation, ABL. I can have my opinion. I can do whatever I want when it comes to how I feel. I feel like tacos are nasty when they cold. So what? Can I go to jail for that opinion? I feel like it makes sense that this guy was an invited guest for some hanky-panky, some extracurricular activities. It got out of control. He's acting the fool, probably on drugs. And he's talking about, where's Nancy at? I'm gonna tell on you to your wife. He's like, okay, what am I gonna do now? This guy's acting the fool. I'm gonna call the police. Police get there. He is embarrassed. So he goes back to the quote unquote home invader. Then it gets weird. The guy sees the cops, freaks out, beats him in the head with the hammer. That's probably what happened. Probably. That makes more sense. Rather than there's a home invader breaking into your house. Y'all hanging out for 30 minutes. You don't get hurt. You call the police and don't go with the police when they get there. You go back to the home invader. You lay on the ground and beat you in the head with a hammer. And then the police got to intervene after that happens. So they're there the whole time. They watch you go back to their attacker. They watch you get on the ground. And then they watch you get beat in the head with a hammer. And then they got to intervene after you get your skull fractured. Make that make sense to me. I dare anyone to make it make sense to me. Ridiculous. Let's keep on going here.
From police, it's unclear if the 82-year-old was already injured or what his mental state was, say sources. According to court documents, when the officer asked what was going on, defendant smiled and said everything's good. But instantaneously, a struggle ensued as police clearly saw David DePape strike Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. After tackling the suspect, officers rushed to Mr. Pelosi, who was lying in a pool of blood.
So check it out. You have court documents that say this, right? So are these fake court documents? Is it fake court documents? Like, is that what's going on? So did NBC receive fake court documents? Is it difficult to verify that? Okay. Is that hard to do? Can't you go to the courthouse and verify these things? So if we're talking about documents from the court, how is it fake? How is it bad information, misinformation? I don't understand. Why retract a thing based on court documents, police statements? What are we talking about here?
What we do know is he brutally attacked Mr. Pelosi and attempted to kill him.
After spending several days in the ICU, Pelosi, who is recovering from a fractured skull and serious injuries to his arm and hand, is now home, where Capitol Police remain on alert. Investigators have previously said Pelosi did not know DePape when the 42-year-old broke into his home. Why Pelosi didn't try to flee or tell responding officers he was in distress is unclear.
Fear takes over. Fear freezes people.
This morning, the 82-year-old lucky to be alive after an intruder nearly killed him in his own home.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation. We still don't know exactly what unfolded between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before
30 minutes before the police arrived.
Officials who were investigating this matter would not go into further details.
Hold on, let's go back a little bit. Let's rewind and let him talk clearly without me interrupting.
Intruder nearly killed him in his own home.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation. We still don't know exactly what unfolded between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before police arrived. Officials who were investigating this matter would not go into further details about these new details. Craig, back to you.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, though. He is lucky to be alive. Miguel Almaguer for us. Miguel, thank you.
So where's the lie in that? You got court documents, you got the police, you got the evidence from the actual house itself, the busted out window, you got all that stuff going on. So I'm trying to figure out what's the actual story here. If they're trying to say this story is inaccurate, the embassy put out themselves based on court documents and police statements, then what's the real story? Tell me that. Tell me the real deal. Or maybe, just maybe, this story came out and it made him, Paul Pelosi, look really bad. So then they got a call from the federales like, hey, man, take that down, man. Take that down. It reminds me of the whole Hunter Biden laptop situation. Remember that on Twitter where they got a call from the feds talking about, hey, man, take that down. October, so probably can't have that. They said it was fake, misinformation, even Fox News. I remember this very clearly, and I always talk about it all the time, where Kennedy had Giuliani on there talking about the Hunter Biden laptop. She said, oh, this is Russian misinformation. It's Eastern European garbage and all kind of stuff like that, right? That was the thing that they were saying. On Fox, they were trying to say that this laptop was fake. And now we know that it was real the whole time, and the feds covered it up. So why wouldn't it be the same thing here? Why would it not be the same thing here? You know, and it's for the same reason, because back then, what was the whole thing? Okay, we got 2020 elections coming up between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. This can't be out here because it's going to hurt Biden's chances of being able to win. Same thing going on with this. Okay, this is right now during the midterm elections. This is coming out about Paul Pelosi and his boy toy, middle of the nighttime. We can't have that come out. It's going to damage midterm elections. Okay, that's what's going on. So if you're endorsed by Nancy Pelosi, if you're endorsed by California Democrats, that's going to hurt you. Or Democrats in general, that's going to hurt you. So here's the story. A hammer came in there, middle of the nighttime, busted the window. Capitol Police did not watch their cameras they have set up. There was no security detail. There was no alarm. He busts in the house. Oh, here's one more detail. So this is a 3-level at least home, a 3-level like a townhouse type thing. The bedroom where Paul was at is on the 3rd floor. The guy broke into the 1st floor. So he broke into the 1st floor, goes up to the 3rd floor, and somehow they're both on the ground floor when the police get there. And then after they get there, they get on the ground and start wrestling with the hammer. So how did he get from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor without getting any kind of injury, without being hurt? But matter of fact, they said the guy went up to the 3rd floor, woke him up. out his bed. Then they're down to the first floor with no injuries, no fight or nothing until the police get there. After a half hour. Come on, be for real. The story doesn't add up. I'm not buying it. I didn't buy it from the beginning. Do I know all the exact 100% details? No, I don't. But what I do know is that what they're telling us right now, it didn't add up. They keep telling us different stories. It was one story when it first came out, then it changed again, then it changed again. So yeah, I'm not really with it. Home improvement role play, yeah, there you go. Role playing gone wrong. Methinks, I believe so. Yeah, you're right about that, Ed and Roscoe's. I need hammer forensics right now. Let's figure out what's going on, where the hammer came from. You get it from Ace Hardware, Lowe's, Home Depot, what's going on. All right, I want to get the blood and I want to get all of that from the fingerprints, everything from the hammer. I want to get all of that. Yeah, ban hammers, ban all of that good stuff. And then the whole ICU story and the whole surgery story, I'm not sure if I believe that as well. They asked Nancy Pelosi about her husband coming home from the hospital. She just said, vote. It was so weird. They're being tight-lipped about the whole, they're not saying anything. They're being very tight-lipped. And why? Because if they say something, that can be used against them in the court of law. They didn't want to say anything because they know that this story is BS. They don't want to say a word. Now, normally when you have a political attack like this on the left, especially, they're going to come out and sing like songbirds, whole press conference, everything going on. But now they're not going to say one word about it because they know it's BS. So yeah, that's what's going on. Shout out to Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, and one more thing. Remember Paul Pelosi had a passenger in the vehicle when he was drunk driving and crashed his car? And then the guy got out of the car. I think he might have, I don't know if he fled. I think the police took him out of the car before the body camera started rolling. Who was that guy that was in the car with him at 4 o'clock in the morning while he was driving drunk in the valley, Napa Valley? Who was that guy? Why was he in the car with him? Why wasn't he the driver? And why was Paul the driver? You see, if you're going to have a young man in the car with you or a guy younger than you in the car and you're 80-something years old, why wouldn't that be the driver? Why is he the passenger? Huh? I'm just trying to ask. If Paul Pelosi is living that kind of life, messing with the boys, hey, it's whatever. I'm not trying to judge, but don't try to say this is a MAGA, QAnon, Trump supporter, extremist when that ain't the case. When it's really about your boys who that got unruly and caused a problem in your house. If that's what it is, then just say that. Don't say it was a thing that it wasn't. But then again, we've not heard from Paul Pelosi or Nancy, so all we have is the media just running with a story. They've not heard that from anybody. They've not heard the whole MAGA thing from anybody. They made that up. What we have right now is evidence points toward the contrary, not what the media is saying. But anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Exactly, Servo. They made it political on the media. They made it political. And then they say, if you say it's political or you comment to the contrary, then you are making it political. It's gaslighting 101. They say everything that's political, we respond to it, then we're the ones that started it. No, you guys started it on the media, on the left. You guys said it was political. We respond and say it wasn't political. It was about X, Y, and Z, allegedly, apparently. Then we're the ones trying to make something out of it. It's so weird. But anyway, I'll move right along. Now, shout out to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is having a bad week. Now, Kyrie Irving, if you guys don't know, NBA basketball player for the New Jersey. I keep saying that because they played in Jersey before. For the Brooklyn Nets. He plays for the Brooklyn Nets. And he has been suspended now for 5 games. And there's a list of things he has to do before he gets reinstated. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find that article right quick. And before I get into what he's got to do to get reinstated, let's talk about what he did to get suspended. Now, what happened was Kyrie Irving posted a picture of a documentary that's available right now on Amazon Prime called From Hebrews to Negroes by Ronald Dalton Jr. Now, the book is about black folks and having Hebrew heritage. And the book and documentary, because it's both. But some people say the documentary and book is anti-Semitic, meaning they say things about European Jews that are negative and hateful. That's what they say. Now, I've not seen it, so I can't say exactly what's going on with the documentary. All that I know is that it's available right now on Amazon Prime. And ever since this whole controversy, it's been skyrocketing in sales and attention. Somehow it's not wrong for Jeff Bezos to profit off of that because he owns Amazon. And the funny part is that Washington Post put out a hit piece about Kyrie Irving, but Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, who also owns Amazon. So I get a book from your library and you tell me how it's bad that I got it from your library and read it. Matter of fact, hold on. Washington Post, Kyrie Irving. Let's check it out right here. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. Look, see what they said on Washington Post, right? Again, Jeff Bezos owns Amazon, where this documentary is able to be streamed on Amazon Prime. Also on Washington Post. Washington Post says, delusional, defiant Kyrie Irving is a stain the NBA could no longer ignore. Written by a black guy by the name of Jerry Brewer. A stone cold, stomp down idiot Jerry Brewer is, in my humble opinion. Kyrie Irving didn't say anything bad about Jewish people. He didn't do anything bad. He is a philanthropist. He's donated money to food banks. He paid $1.5 million. He paid $1.5 million from his own money to pay WNBA player salaries when they were not able to play during the scamdemic. $1.5 million he paid to cover their salaries for a period of time during the pandemic. I mean, he is a really, really, really good guy. But because he is interested in reading and learning about history and things of that nature, that could be offensive to some people. He gets this kind of treatment. So first it was a fine, sort of a fine. They wanted him to pay $500,000 to the ACLU or to ADL, one of those. Same thing. He was going to pay that and the Nets would match it. But then the ADL came out and said, we don't want your money. It's like, man, stop lying. You want that money. That's the whole point. You guys come out and attack people for being anti-Semitic or being racist or hateful, and then the way they make up for it is to pay you, and then it goes away. That's Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. That's Civil Rights Leader 101. I make you say you're sorry about a particular thing. If you are, if you're not, it don't matter. You say you're sorry, then you pay me some money, and then it goes away. I call off my boycott dogs, and you're good. It's quid pro quo. That's like the whole thing about paying for a verification badge on Twitter, paying for your blue check. You also pay to have any kind of issues go away. $500,000, $500,000 you paid, but they didn't even want it. It's bogus. Anyway, so that's the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos and Amazon, where you found a documentary at. Now, let me see if I can find the conditions. All right. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to find this here. Oh, they don't have the conditions up? Okay. Let's find the website that actually works. How about that? And do we have it or no? Here's the article right here. Let's see if they have it. The Brooklyn Nets made the astounding move on Thursday to suspend point guard Kyrie Irving for at least 5 games. So he's suspended right now without pay. Amid the anti-Semitic scandal he has found himself embroiled in. Again, all he did was post a picture of the movie. He did not say anything about Jews or anything anti-Semitic, anything hateful, anything racist. He says he loves everybody. He's not an anti-Semite. He's a Semite himself from his point of view. So he doesn't believe in the whole thing of anti-Semitism or being racist or hateful. He loves everybody. But this is what they're doing to him. So you got a 5-game suspension from the Brooklyn Nets. And then they want to do 4 things before he comes back. Let me see if I can find that list right here. Okay. So, number one, he's got to make a public statement recognizing the film is anti-Semitic. So he has to admit, yes, the film I shared is anti-Semitic. Although that's your opinion, it may not be mine. I must share your opinion to come back to the team. First thing. Second thing, an apology for supporting the film and the falsehood within it. So it's like doubling down. I got to say it's anti-Semitic. Then I got to apologize. I got to apologize and then say it's anti-Semitic. Then I got to apologize again and say the things within the thing are anti-Semitic. It's like a contract right here you're signing, right? I mean, good grief. You're talking about lawyers. Man, you know what? I'm not anti-Semitic. I love everybody. I love Jewish people, white people, Italians, Irish, Polish, any kind of white person I love. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Canadian. I love everybody. I don't care who you are, what your race is. I judge you on your character. But there's a certain kind of stereotype about people, about lawyers and money hungry and controlling. This whole thing right here is not doing anything to dispel that stereotype. It's not doing a thing to dispel that stereotype. I'm not saying I believe in it, but if someone did and they see this, they'd be like, well, I'm right. Anyway, third thing, they want him to train. They want him to train on dangers of the speech. So they want to bring him to sessions to train. I'm not sure he's going to be doing that. Be some guy he's got to go to and then get trained on what hate speech is. Probably some guy from the ADL or ACLU. But anyway, then he's got to meet with Brooklyn Jewish leaders. So what you mean, like landlords? I'm sorry, I said that. But anyway, so he's got to do all four things in order to get reinstated. He's on a 5-game suspension. If he doesn't do those things, then he won't get reinstated. If he gets traded or released from the league, I would not be surprised. The problem is that Kyrie Irving is such a good basketball player. They can't really afford it, and they got him on a contract as well. And I don't think they'd be able to break that contract because of this. You're talking about millions of dollars on the line. They're not going to do that. Okay. They were able to get out of their contract a little bit last year when he didn't play because of the bug. Remember the whole thing about the virus, and he was not wanting to play because he didn't get vaccinated. Well, he wanted to play, but he didn't get the bug, so they didn't play him. They took some of his money, but they couldn't take all of it because he's still on the contract. So what's going to happen here is if they try to cut him, they still got to pay him. And other teams would be able to get him with, like, so let's say, for example, they try to cut him or trade him. All they're going to do is empower another team to compete at a higher level than them. So are you going to do that? Will other teams see him as toxic and not want him on their team? I don't think so. A lot of guys will put you on their team. Michael Vick went to jail for dogfighting and still came back and played 7 more years. You know, so he went to prison for 2 years and came back and still played 7 more years. So Kyrie Irving has not been to prison. He did not throw a guy through window like Charles Barkley did. He did not do anything crazy. He did not have any kind of allegation like Kobe did back in the day, RIP Kobe. Nothing like that went on. So is he really that toxic because of this documentary that he posted on his Twitter? I think not. But all of this, you got to apologize. You got to jump through hoops of fire, do a little dance, sing a song, all because you posted an image of a documentary. You didn't say anything about it. You didn't endorse it. You didn't recommend it. You just posted it. That's all you did. That's all you did. And you know what? I did the same thing to see what the reaction would be. And I got guys that are trying to call me anti-Semitic right there. It's like all I did was just post the picture. I did not say a word about it. I've not even seen the documentary before. All I did was just post it. People were trying to say that I was anti-Semitic. You know, I posted this right here. Hold on. All I did was post that. That's it. That's the documentary and or book. It's both. Like I said, it's a book, then documentary based on the book. I posted that, and then I got accused of being anti-Semitic. I didn't say a word about it. It's so weird. My thing is, you should be able to criticize anybody without you being attacked differently for that criticism. And it shouldn't be a thing where you can't even work and have an opinion, in my humble opinion. But like I said, I don't believe in all that stuff, all that Jews this, Jews that. But if somebody believed in that stuff, about how they control everything or whatever, then this would not change their mind. They'd be like, well, I'm right. And how can anybody say that they're wrong for having that? You see what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't operate like that, but I understand why some people would operate like that. Now, if somebody sees this, would they say I'm anti-Semitic, or would they just be like, hey, you know what, I understand where you're coming from. I appreciate your point of view, and have that be that? Or would you debate me? Would you say, okay, I disagree with you, let's have a debate? Or would it just be, you're anti-Semitic, you're hateful, you're racist, get off of YouTube? What would it actually be? Like I said, I love everybody. I don't care who you are. I love everybody. And until you do a thing I don't like, and then I'm going to criticize you on that thing, I'll challenge you on that thing. Now, I may not hate you, but I'm going to still be critical of you. And the guys that are doing this right now, the Kyrie Irving, I criticize them. If you're a regular normie and you don't believe in what's happening to Kyrie Irving, or you don't agree with it, then cool. We can talk about that. I don't care what color you are. But if you agree with what's happening right now to Kyrie Irving, now we got an issue that I want to discuss. And it shouldn't be based on me being somehow quote unquote anti-Semitic, and I'm not. You know what I mean? It's just not that way. And really, a lot of this can be seen as anti-white, because at the end of the day, we're talking about white people. Because you have Jews that are not white, but that's not who we're talking about right now, is it? We're talking about white people normally, Adam Silver, guys like that. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, we're talking about guys like that. Because that is who has punished Kyrie Irving, Adam Silver. Not some black guy that happens to call himself Jewish. Not Amari Stoudemire, who became a convert to Orthodox Judaism. We ain't talking about him. We're talking about Adam Silver. But again, I don't really believe in all of that. I just believe that you should be able to say certain things about people without being criticized differently than other people. You know, if Kyrie Irving said this about white people, it wouldn't be a problem at all. About black folks, wouldn't be a problem at all. About anybody else, wouldn't be a problem. But anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Do you guys think Kyrie will be back in the NBA or back to the Brooklyn Nets? Will he be able to fulfill all 4 qualifications? Remember, he's got to apologize publicly. He's got to denounce the film twice. He has to also meet with leaders in Brooklyn Jewish leaders. Will he do all those things, or will he just refuse to do it, stand on the square, and then have whatever happened happen? Remember, last year, he lost millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, because he didn't want to get vaccinated. And the same people right now that are criticizing him, calling him an idiot, calling him a moron, low IQ, the same guys who criticizing him right now criticized him back then. But we now know that he's been vindicated because they've released the vaccine mandate in New York City. So he was able to play in New York the same way he wanted to play last time. Nothing has changed except for the laws. That's all that changed. And we're seeing some side effects right now from the bug, allegedly, that would hinder him from being able to play on the court. You got heart issues. How are you going to have a heart issue if you're playing basketball? How are you going to have a heart issue and even live properly? Aside from playing sports. He was right back then, but he was criticized heavily for his decision. And I think that's part of the reason why he's being criticized right now. It's not even about the whole thing about the documentary. It's about other things. It's about being unruly. It's about being somebody you can't really control. It's about having your own mind and thinking for yourself and doing for yourself. You see, it's about not being a slave mentally. When you escape that proverbial plantation, they don't like that too much. They want you to be like Shaq and Charles Barkley. Be on there and say whatever they want you to say. Whatever the bosses want you to say. Whoever the bosses may be. The boss could be a black person, white person, any kind of ethnic group of white person. It don't really matter. Whatever the bosses say, you do it. I hate that so much. Shout out to Kyrie Irving. But anyway, I'll move on. I will move right along. I'm getting triggered beyond belief right now. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all this. Oh, also, I almost forgot. I'll be back here live streaming on Tuesday, November the 8th, Election Day. If you have not voted yet, please go out there and vote November the 8th, this Tuesday coming up. Do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for your grandmama. Do it for your kids. Do it for the country. Go out there and vote Tuesday, November the 8th. Go do it. And I'll be right here covering the results live. I'll probably go live right about 7 o'clock, 7:30, something like that, when they first start to announce results all over the country. And I'll be live pretty much the whole night, or as long as I can. I ain't trying to stay up too late and be dead tired, but I'll be up covering the election for sure. Again, Tuesday, November the 8th, I will be live, and I'll be live again the next day on that Wednesday to recap what happened the previous night. So y'all check it out. Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, go vote. If you have not done so yet, go do it Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. All right? Do it for Pookie. Yeah, there you go. do for Pookie. Do it for Lil Ray Ray and them. Do it for all of them. But anyway, I will move right along. I got Kyrie Irving, Paul Pelosi, MSNBC, Elon Musk. I got the whole thing covered. Let's get to super chats, and then we get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. I'll get to the calls in a few minutes here. Y'all just hang tight for me, please. And thank you. I appreciate that. I got super chats to read first, and then I'll get to the calls. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. We're almost at 1 million subscribers. 1 million. I'm about to crack 970 right now. And I think we're getting some traction. For a while, I was stuck at a certain number. But now I'm going to keep on just rocking, keep on rolling. And I think that we're going to get to where you got to go very soon here. So we're almost at 1 million. Make it happen. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If they're not subscribed to the ABL channel, please do so. That'll help me out so much. I'll be forever in your debt. All right. So let's go to the first super chat here from November the 5th today. And thank you to Caius Posthumous, who says, would you say most problems in U.S. come from California? That's a good question. I say from the federal government in D.C., not California. I think California is a representation of what we can become if we don't stop this nonsense right now in the rest of the country. You know, crackheads just roaming the streets freely, doodling everywhere. That right there can be the whole U.S. if we don't stop what's happening right now from the federal level. Thank you to Eric Burns Marsh, who says Aaron Carter had information that will lead to the rest of Hillary Clinton. Yeah, RIP Aaron Carter, 34 years old. If you guys don't know who Aaron Carter is, he is, or was, pardon me, a rapper. He was like a child star, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know a lot about Aaron Carter personally. I think his wave was a little bit past my time. Let me see if I can find a picture of him right quick, and then I'll keep on rocking here. Yeah, but Aaron Carter, they found him in the bathtub like Whitney Houston, I think. So I don't want to speculate on what happened because I don't know. All I know is that they said that he died. And here's a picture of him right here. So that's Aaron Carter. Yeah, so RIP to him, 34 years old, young man. All right, I'm 38, 34, so he's a pretty young man. So yeah, I don't know what happened or what's going on. It said I found him in the tub, and that was pretty much it. So we'll see what happens if there's any kind of updates or whatnot about the cause of death. Was he a pop singer? Okay, y'all pardon me. I'm not always knowing everything what's going on. But yeah, RIP to him. Let's go back here. Thank you to Caius Posthumous, who says, what's up with Twitter having a human rights board? I'm not really sure about that. I've not looked into that, so I don't know the details of it. Thank you to Apple again, who says, shout out to O'Reilly, want to know Astros or Phillies. I've not really been watching that, so I don't even really know. I'll say Phillies just because. Throw one out there. Apple also said, shout out to you, ABL. Video on Tiffany Cross. Hilarious. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Glad you enjoyed it. Apple also says, got a question on Charlemagne the God. Why does he call himself after a white French-German dude who fought Moors, black Muslims? These guys are so funny, man. Like, these guys talk about all this blackity black woke stuff, be the main ones that like white culture and that kind of stuff. They're the main ones all the time. It's just like when you see a girl, and I don't mean to be sexist, so please pardon me, but it's just a thing I see on Twitter. Where they're talking about how much they don't like to date black men and they hate, or where they say, where they talk about how they want to date black men and they're tired of seeing black guys with white women. They'd be the main ones that like white men. It's just like projection, really. That's what that is. It's so weird. Anyway, Apple also says, oh, and why does he call himself God? I don't know. It's like, remember, I'm kind of an old guy here, but back in my day, here's a little Uncle ABO story. Back in my day, I walked 18 miles to school in the snow. But nah, we had this thing, the rap name generator, and you put your name in there, and then it would generate a random name for you. That could be kind of what's going on with that. I don't know. I'm not sure where he got that name from. it seems kind of really random. Like Childish Gambino, he got his name from there. Childish Gambino name is Donald Glover. So Childish Gambino, where does that come from? It came from the rap name generator. That could be where Charlamagne got his name from as well. Apple also says, oh, where's BLM on the Kiera Benefield murder? Oh, yeah, exactly. Apple also says, so-called historian Michael Beschloss, I know I tore that name up, I'm sorry, says Republicans gonna load minorities into camps and do bad. He ain't never heard of Sequoia Turner. Shameful. Exactly. He also says libs like Beschloss don't care about the truth. ABL, can you read people good? You can read people good. You think libs like Hillary, Biden, Kamala, Pelosi, Barack are self-aware? Like, do they know how wrong they are? That's a good question. I think people like Barack Obama know what they're doing very well because he was trained from a young boy with Lolo Sotoro and the Bushes. He was groomed to be the president. So he knows very well. Hillary Clinton, same thing. Joe Biden is kind of a moron, but he kind of understands what's going on a little bit. He's just a career politician who happens to be placed in the position of power next to the guy that knew what was going on. Okay? That's why Barack was like, look, man, don't run. I was groomed for this, like Barack Obama. I was groomed for this. You are just a guy who got lucky and got to be my vice president. Don't run. You are a moron. So I think Biden is not really understanding what's happening. And Pelosi, of course, knows what's going on. Kamala Harris has no idea what's happening. Kamala Harris is not a good politician. She was elected because she's black. And that's just a fact because Biden said it. Biden said before she got picked to be the vice president, I'm picking the black woman to be the vice president. The only reason why she got picked is because she's black. She polled at 0% when she ran for president. 0%. They thought they could put her and your man out there. What's your man's name? Cory Booker. Remember him? That was the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. Cory Booker, a completely just kind of silly dude. They put him out there with Rosario Dawson. It's like, sir, if you gay, just say that, man. Or if you're not really a ladies' man, just say that, man. Rosario Dawson, I don't believe that. Come on, man. Like, you could have just picked any random girl from the street. That would have made more sense. Random lady from the street. It could be a lunch lady, cafeteria lady. I don't care, man. Rosario Dawson, you, Cory Booker, for real? Come on, man. Be for real. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Anyway, ABL, Flavor Flav or Tone Loc, favorite old school rap. Flav all day long. Energy, beyond energy. Shout out to Flav. Also, Bacana is attacked by underwater Aztecs. You're going to see. I'm going to watch it when the traffic dies down from all the hype surrounding it on the opener. I'm going to watch it. Also, ABL, travel by train or yeah or nay. Amtrak, good or no. I've not been on the train in a long time, like a long distance train. I'm not necessarily against it, but I'd rather would fly. It's just more convenient and easy to me. You know, on a train, I'm thinking about you got guys on there trying to hitchhike and whatnot. I don't got no time for that. Put me on a plane. And if you got guys on there that's on some BS, I can get to my destination soon and not deal with it too long. So, nah, I'd rather would just fly. It's easier. Or drive. Eric Burns Marsh says, Biden overthrew the Ukrainian government to fund his son's drug habit. Now he's talking about morals. What the what? Exactly. Exactly. Like, really, what's going on with that? Apple says, ABL, how old were you when you learned the word inflation? When I was a little boy, I think probably about 8 years old. I've said the story before on this channel. I'll say it one more time for the new people. So when I was about 8 or 9 years old, a little boy, I asked Mom, why can't we just print more money if people don't have any money? Because I went to school and I figured out, okay, you got a printing press, you got a Federal Reserve. We can just print money, right? If we don't have any money, we can just print it. But she was like, what happens is if you print more money, it becomes less valuable. That's called inflation. You know, and I remember that from back then. I was a little kid and I understood that concept. I'm like, okay, if you print more money, it becomes less valuable. It's the scarcity of cash that makes it valuable. It's simple. Which is why you can't get that thing, inflation, from anywhere else other than the federal government. Well, other than the Federal Reserve Bank, because they print the money. That's the only place where it comes from. The government say, okay, print more money. The Fed prints it, and then we have inflation. That's it. Also, Caius Parchment says Newsom is blaming the left for his blunders in California. That's correct. Apple says, remember the 5th of November, happy guy, Fox Day to all Protestants from this Catholic. Sorry about gunpowder popery plot. Bygones be. There you go. Also, praying for red wave. We need Congress and Senate. Opinion, impeach Biden or no, impeach his cabinet. Ain't no point in doing that because it won't go nowhere. It's kind of senseless. It's just like the whole thing with Trump. They tried to impeach Trump because they wanted to make him look bad. But ain't no point in doing that because Biden already looks bad and it won't go anywhere in Congress. Man, they could do it. If we take when we take the Congress back, we could do it. But I don't see it going anywhere, be honest with you. I think what would probably be the best option would be to go ahead and just vote him out in 2024. But there's a slim chance we could get him out through impeachment. But I think that's more of a political dog and pony type show. Anyway, Buff versus Windshield says, when David asked Paul, quote, where's Nancy? He was asking if the house was clear for them. I don't want to know what the hammer was for. Exactly. I don't want to know what that was for. But if it was a mallet, a hammer, what color it was, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, thank it to Boy Kachina who says, Pelosi and the pappy took a nappy. Cops know hammer smell like crappy. Or therefore more hush money from skittering off into the night of the DUI. Thank it to Mike Lee II for the donation. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Miss OMG who says, great show, great chat. Thank you for that. Thank you to One Hope for your donation and the emoji. Thank you to Laura Catherine who says, ABL, do you think inflation and crime will improve after the red wave next week? Fingers crossed. Well, I think it will improve, but not overnight. I think it'll probably take a while because there's so much money out there, so much cash that has been printed. You can't really put the cat back in the bag. It's out of the bag right now. All we could do is not have this get worse. If we keep having this ban on local energy, trying to force the fossil fuels out and quote unquote renewables in, if we keep doing that, it's going to be a problem. That'll just make the inflation worse and last for a longer period of time. So we could do things that'll stop the bleeding, but the patient already bled out. So you pump in his chest, he's just like, ugh. So I don't know, man. It's going to be kind of hard. Thank you to Great Nate who says, what if I post a link to a doc called My Hood Protects Me from Your Hood? Doc says KKK was started because of violence against whites after the Civil War, which is a lie to Jews. Kyrie lie hurts Jews. People wouldn't be triggered if I was canceled. What did Kyrie Irving say, though? What did he say? He didn't say anything as far as I know. You're creating a straw man argument because you're talking about things that have very specific statements to a thing that Kyrie Irving didn't say. So I don't really understand. I don't really get it. And for me personally, post whatever you want to post. I'm not going against Amazon for having links to all these things on there. So if I don't attack Amazon for streaming, Birth of a Nation or whatever else they want to stream, why would I be upset about that? What are you talking about? I couldn't be upset about what Kyrie's talking about either. Have whatever you want on there. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. I like a lot of things, and there's a lot I don't like on particular platforms. I'm not going to boycott them because they host things that I don't like. That's not how that should work. So yeah, I don't do that. Thank you to F Ranger Xbox who says, how many genders do the operation centers offer? Thank you to Cal Denson who says, it's wild how Christianity isn't protected like Judaism or Islam. I also think Kyrie will get the In His Freedom cancer treatment after his contract expires this season. Farewell to Irving. Well, that's a good point because In His Cancer Freedom is gone from the NBA. He's out of the NBA totally after speaking out against China. But the thing about Kyrie is that he's less expendable. You see, In His Cancer was more of a role player, just a big man that could clog up the paint. He wasn't really a star player at all. But Kyrie Irving is a star player with a really big contract. So they may do that to him, but if they do it, they hurt themselves for sure. Also, thank you to Friendship Lights who says, will our vote get counted, ABL? Well, it depends where you are. Because remember, your election is local. It's not a national thing. People talking about elections being stolen, but it's all about where you live. You know, your particular area, your state, your city, your town. It's all about where you live. It's not a national thing. If you're living in California, it's going to be kind of hard. If you're living in Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Texas, much easier, much more secure. We got voter ID here. We have tougher laws here that enforce a fair election here in Tennessee. It's a state-to-state issue. Thank you to Matt H. who says, ABL, have you seen the Bees California's Move to Texas series? I saw some of that. Yes, I have. They're up to 4 episodes now, and they're all great. I'm going to have to review those on my channel just to kind of check them out and see what's popping with them. All right, but That'll be a wrap for the super chats. It's time for the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434, there it is, 434-658-1220. There's also an email in the description box, so you can call in and be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen on video. If it doesn't work right, it's not my fault. You know, to blame the white man. Don't blame me. All right, let's go to 908. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Talking about. Oh, hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We're live now? I'm live now?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. I was calling in. First, I want to say hello.
Hello.
I'm calling in to speak on the Kyrie Irving situation. Now, I personally watched the documentary because I wanted to see what was the whole uproar and why he, got banned and suspended, and Nike, suspended their contract with him. The whole documentary was just letting people know, based on the Bible, and he was showing excerpts from the Bible, that the original Jews are black, all starting from Africa, and they show passages from the Bible supporting this. That's all the documentary is about. Nothing on there was anti-Semitic, nothing, hateful towards Jews or anything like that. So I don't understand what it's about. I just think that they just got it out for him. Ever since the vaccine thing, with him refusing to partake in that, they just been on him, and I just think people need to start to come together and ban Nike. I'm willing to ban Nike. I don't need to shop with them. We need to start coming together. Whenever we become knowledgeable and rise up, that's when they want to shut us down. They're like, oh, he's learning the truth. We got to shut him down. Typical house nigga stuff. The Toby stuff. That's what's going on. No, your name is not Coop. Your name is not Coop. It's Toby. You gonna do what we say. So now he's falling out of line according to them. So this is what he got to deal with. But everybody needs to come together and support this brother right here, because nothing at all was hateful in that documentary. It was actually an eye opener and very informative. Very informative. So that's what I wanted to say. I know I see a lot of comments on Facebook, Twitter, and everything, and I respond, and I'm like, have any of y'all even watched the documentary? You sitting up here supporting it. Did you watch the documentary? So I paid my little $11.99 and I watched it, me and my 16-year-old son. And it was very informative to both of us.
Exactly. I mean, that should be the response, right? It shouldn't just be, okay, I take your word for it, it's anti-Semitic. No, I'll watch it for myself and make my own decision. I won't be just blinded by whatever you think about it or whatever they think about it. I watch it for myself and decide for myself. I'm like, okay, that's not that bad. It wasn't anti-Semitic. It was very informative. So I'm glad you're able to watch it with an open mind and come to that conclusion. That's a very good thing. We need to do that all across the country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I support Kyrie. I support everything he stands for. We got to stop falling in line and stick to, what our beliefs or whatever it is or our morals are, and stick to it. And stop letting people change it.
That's right.
That's how you feel, and you stick to it. You don't fold. You stand 10 toes down on it. And I support that brother. And he don't need to be meeting with the community. Okay? So I would tell him, everybody been telling him he need to link up with Big Three League anyways and get with Ice Cube and get on his team.
There you go.
So that's all I wanted to call in and say. Everybody needs to go watch the documentary for themselves and form their own opinion and stop just going off of what everybody said. Wasn't nothing hateful about that documentary at all.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good night.
Same to you.
Bye.
Well, very good call. And somebody said, oh, well, y'all ain't going to stop wearing Nikes and go to Starberries. I don't wear like athletic tennis shoes in public. I wear like a lot of stuff you see online for like $20. I got a different kind of style. I don't do the old Jordans thing. I started doing that when I was like 18, 19. I'm about to be 40 years old. I ain't wearing no Jordans. If you wear Jordans right now, nothing against you, but it ain't really my type of thing. That's not really my style. You know what I mean? I'm the kind of guy that wear like white canvas shoes, black canvas shoes that have no name brand at all. 773 on the line, I'm speaker to.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. How you doing?
Oh, well, about yourself?
Good. ABL, you said that you challenge anyone to make sense of the Paul Pelosi thing. I accept your challenge.
All right.
I'm gonna try to give you my old veteran policeman's point of view on this and see if it makes sense to you.
Okay.
First of all, anybody that breaks into your house, a complete stranger, breaks a window, comes into your house, you discover them, you're able to call the police, and you're able to answer the door when the police come over. You are running out that door and just telling the police he's in the kitchen or he's in the den and leaving it at that. A policeman's thing is this. If it doesn't make sense, it's a lie. So this situation doesn't make sense. So let me try to make sense out of it for you for a second. Taking that into account, where if you run out of the house because you feel threatened by a complete stranger, that's the normal response. Now, I've gone to a lot of calls like this, and when the person goes back to the offender, meaning to the offender, he goes back to the offender and brings the police to the offender, it's because the victim, Paul Pelosi, wants to be there when the police question the offender. Because Paul Pelosi wants to have a rebuttal to whatever this guy says, the naked Canadian, okay? The naked Canadian guy, he wants to be able to have a rebuttal. So if this guy says, he reached out to me on Tinder and wanted a hookup, and then blah, 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 Paul Pelosi wants to be there in front of the police to be able to say this, that, no, deny it, and everything else. He wants to be present when the guy is speaking. Here's my scenario. And, this is a speculation on my part. Just like there was a guy in that car when he got the DUI and that guy is disappeared into the wind or we don't know about him. When Paul Pelosi's wife is out of town, sometimes men who are either bisexual or closeted homosexuals, they participate in behavior that is not always the safest behavior for them. So maybe they go and they pick up somebody from the Tenderloin and have them come into their car. Or they go on Tinder or one of these things and invite the guy over. Then Mr. Naked Canadian comes to my house because I want some kind of hookup. Either I want to worship his feet or I want to have gay sex with him or whatever it might be. And then it goes bad for whatever reason. They start an argument. And this guy pulls out a hammer and says, no, I'm serious. I'm mad at you for whatever reason. You didn't pay me enough money, or, we've met once before and you should be telling your wife that you're gay or you're bisexual, whatever the argument. He probably used the hammer to break the window from the inside, which explains why the window is broken and the glass is on the outside. All that glass, most of that glass looks like it happened from hitting the window from the inside out. Then you call the police. Now the police come to your house, and instead of running out, you want to hear what this guy's going to say to them. You just want the guy out of your house. That's what you want. That's why you tell the police, no, everything's okay. Everything's fine. I just want him out of my house or whatever it might be. But when you go back to the room that he's at, this guy's a nut and he's serious, and you underestimated the danger that you're in with this guy. And he bops you up the side of the head with the hammer right in front of the police. He doesn't care that the police are here. He's mad at you, and he's going to now hit you with the hammer. You should have never went back into the danger zone with this offender. But you didn't feel like you were in danger. The police are here. I want to have him out of my house, and I want to hear what he's going to tell the police, so I want to be there when he's talking to the police. That's my take on it. That's my take on it. That, he was invited over. It went bad. You want him out. You want to hear what he's got to say to the police when you kick him out of your house, and you underestimated his violence, and he did attack you. And I believe that part I believe, that he hit Paul Pelosi upside the head so hard that he had to go to the hospital and everything else. But the rest of it doesn't make sense. But what I just said makes sense to me. Was I there? No. Is it a speculation on my part? Yes. But I'm trying to make sense out of what went on. And that scenario is much closer to making sense than anything that's come out in the media or anything that Paul Pelosi or the news or MSNBC says. That's my take on it, ABL.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks, ABL. I'm glad I got in this week and I had a chance to participate. And I love your show, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you. That made perfect sense to me. Perfect sense. Because it's like you're going back toward him because you want to kind of control the situation. You don't want him to find anything. You want to control what he's saying. Because if he's a dangerous person, you call the police, you don't go back towards him when the police get there. If you're able to go to the door and open it, you just go outside. He's in there, go get him. You have the cavalry. They have the guns. They're there to protect you. You're safe now. Why would you go back toward the danger? You do that because you want to try to control the narrative and what's being said and what's being done. That's why. That makes sense. Allegedly, from my point of view. It doesn't make sense the other way around. 424 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's Dave in L.A., otherwise known as Zuma Dog, living legend in the city of Los Angeles.
All righty,
Great
man.
To talk to you, ABL.
Likewise.
ABL, let me tell you, I love all your perspectives. I want to talk about two things, the Kyrie Irving, and then we're going to run through the Paul Pelosi thing because it's shady. Now, first of all, regarding Kyrie Irving, we're living in a insanely woke society of sensitivity where you can't say anything about anybody, and the overreaction, it's with the LGBT community, and now it's with this, with the anti-Semitism, that's in the woke world too. But now I'm a little bit older, I'm 58. Here's what I'd like to tell the younger people like Kyrie and even yourself. Listen, man, when you take the money, you're taking that 40 million, you have to play along a little bit. Now, I think what Kyrie should have done, he doesn't want to come up too soft like a pussy. He doesn't want to cave in totally. I think he needed to say, you know what? I tweeted the link to that movie. I didn't realize that it was so hurtful and anti-Semitic. And I like to say that I'm definitely not an anti-Semite. But the problem is Kyrie would not come out and say he's not anti-Semitic. Okay. So you want to take the 40 million. Yeah, you got to kiss ass a little bit.
Hold on, caller. You can't cuss too much on the show.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So, you have to play the game a little bit because you're taking the 40 million, and I don't think it would have been too much for him to say, I didn't realize it was that hurtful. I didn't realize it was an anti-Semitic movie when I posted it because I'm no anti-Semite. You need to do that. Now he just lost Nike as a sponsor. And I do think there's an overreaction. Okay, I want to say that. I think this is all being overreacted. I think a lot of stuff is these days. But just like Kanye, he went to the Jewish people to back him in his business ideas. He became a billionaire, and then he talked trash against them. The world doesn't work that way. So my final statement on this issue is that the younger generation wants to be able to say anything and do anything. And, you can't tell me what to do. So I think a little bit of stubbornness on Kyrie's part. And I think it's going to hurt him when it didn't have to get to this point. What do you think about that?
I think that's pretty much how Kyrie is, though. He's not going to he's going to do what he wants to do, because he did the same thing last year with the vaccine. And then it was the same argument back then. Oh, so get the vaccine. There's no problem. You're letting your teammates down. You got to play the game right to get the vaccine. And now we know that the vaccine has harmful side effects, that he's vindicated. So it's like he was right.
Well, here's the difference. The vaccine, I totally support him on, because that is making somebody stick a needle in your arm with chemicals that you don't know what the heck it's going to do. We don't, just because they say it's safe. No, man, I'm scared to death. I never got one vaccine, so I could support that all the way. But this is a situation more political where, and you can say, well, that's just how Kyrie is. Good. Then he's not going to be a part of the NBA. He's not going to be part of the system. It's a woke system these days. And again, if you take the money, you have to somewhat play along, So I know I asked your opinion and I respect it. You say that's just how he is, but I just want to distinguish. There's a huge difference. All the difference, like if it's me personally, I would say, no, man, you can fire me. I'm not sticking some needle in my arm that can cause me a brain cloud or Justin Bieber face or get a stroke or kill me. But to say, hey, bro, you messed up, you made a statement that came off racist, and I would say, like, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt people's feelings. I'm definitely not a racist. I mean, yeah, I would do that,
See, the thing about it is that's you and that's your opinion. He has his own opinion, and that's the whole thing. And then also, he didn't even say anything. So that's the whole problem, is that he didn't even say anything. All he did was post a picture of a documentary that's on Amazon. He didn't say a word. And then they asked him about it. He says, look, I respect everyone. I love everybody, all religions, all cultures, all ethnicities. I'm not a hateful person. I love everybody. But it wasn't enough. They want him to do so much. They've been over backwards. And they have a list of like...
Oh, did he say he loved... Did he say he loves everybody? I didn't hear that part.
Yes, he did.
I know they asked him to say he's not anti-Semitic, and he wouldn't say he wouldn't go that far.
Because he is believing in the whole thing about blacks also being Semites. So he says, I can't be anti-Semite. Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you want him to denounce his own belief system because somebody is upset that he posted a picture of a documentary. So it's like at a certain point, he wants to say, you know what? I don't want to be treated this way. And if it means I lose money, then so be it. He lost money last year with the whole vaccine thing, and his mind is the same thing. And I understand where he's coming from. It's like, look, I won't be bullied around like this to do a thing I don't want to do. To say I'm sorry when I didn't even do anything wrong. You see what I'm saying? So I see where he's coming from with that.
Yeah, okay, so you know what? Where we both agreed, we're in a woke world that's way over touchy and way overreactive. And yeah, people draw a line. Listen, man, I could be a lot richer and a lot more successful if I would have been more of a sellout. So I really can't criticize him because I'm just as stubborn. So yeah, the sad thing is we're in a woke, overreactive, crazy world. And he got caught up in it. And where a lot of people would just, bow down and do it and keep the money, he's not willing to. Okay, so good for him. Let's talk about the Pelosi situation.
Well, caller, we got like limited time, so it's gonna be pretty quick on this next topic. I got to get to the next call, actually.
Okay, I think there's a third person involved. I think there was a third person, and that's what he called 911 about, because David was there with him when they made the 911 call together. Okay, Paul didn't shut the door. So I think there was a third person. And then once 911 was called, that third person took off, because when the police came, and I'm wrapping it up, Paul opened the door, as you know. Hi, police. Then he walked back into his house with David instead of running behind the cops. The cops didn't even run in the house. Then all of a sudden, boom, hit over the head with the hammer. And then the police come in. So I think it's possible that there was no hammer hit and Paul just fell back on his own head. He just tripped and fell. And, they're turning this into a political thing.
That very well could be, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the caller. You guys are you guys in the comments are always funny, but shout out to the caller. Shout out to everybody that's called in. I appreciate you guys. I couldn't do it without you. The number to call, 434-658-1220. The phone lines are blowing up, so y'all please hang tight. I'll try to get to you ASAP. All righty, let's go. 201 on your line. I'm speaking to.
Oh, I think you know who it is by now, bro.
I don't.
Shout out to the chat. It's your friendly neighborhood prankster, man.
Alrighty.
So, what a difference a day makes, huh? So you see what I was trying to say now. I called in on Wednesday and spit my darts here. And, you know, I always appreciate you sharing your platform with us as the audience, bro. So, you know, as always, shout out to ABL. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I recognize you as the host, you know, but in a way we're all essentially in this room together kind of sharing a discourse, right? And in discourse, there can be no hierarchy. So, like, while the host is respected for bringing the group together, the host is also not above criticism, right? So I ain't going to come at you like Ivan, the notorious troll, or nothing like that.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good.
We gonna have our little Smack DVD battle rap moment, bro, but like all in the spirit of love. You feel me? So when I hung up on Wednesday, I felt like I heard you kind of, you know, this might not have even been intentional, but I felt like you kind of like misrepresented and mischaracterized my point, and you boiled it all down to blaming the white man and that we as black people need to take personal responsibility, which, you know, I totally agree with you on, bro. Now I understand I throw a lot of information in here in my calls at y'all in a short amount of time, or as short amount of time as possible. So I see how things can get lost in the sauce. But I really appreciate that, bro. And then like another caller called in later expressing similar things, talking about, you know, he's a successful black man, and, you know, what are we supposed to do with all these quote unquote conspiracies by they who must not be named? And so my answer is what you're supposed to do is stop, look, and listen. You know, pay attention. Why is it that when my very valid criticism was expressed, you guys kind of flipped it back on us needing to take responsibility, when the real point was, why don't they have to take personal responsibility too? Both things can be true at the same time. I don't know if you remember back in 2019, there was it was the national news. There was a shooting at a Jewish deli in my neighborhood in Jersey City. You remember that? There was two black shooters that randomly had. What's that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it was two black folks. They randomly rolled up in like a U-Haul van or whatever, shot up the store with some pretty high-grade weapons, and then the store just like closed permanently. And it also turned out that the two people weren't even from Jersey City. They were like drifters passing through or whatever. It was a really weird kind of situation. But there was a black elderly woman in my neighborhood, Miss Joan Terrell Page. She was on the school board, and this woman had A1 credit in the hood, bro, for a lot of things she had done to fight for our schools. She made a Facebook post denouncing the violence like entirely, but she did point out that we needed to address why the conflict and tension existed, and pointing out that there were tactics that had been reported by people in the community, of members in the Hasidic community, that were gentrifying the neighborhood and bullying black owners out of their homes, claiming that they would bring in drug dealers and prostitutes over from New York City to destabilize the neighborhood and drive down the property value. I know it sounds crazy, but this was reported by homeowners in the neighborhood, and so, you know, the white Jewish mayor of Jersey City called for this woman's resignation publicly, and they had a public board of education meeting scheduled to allow the community to voice their opinion, and they announced they were closing the meeting to the public the day of the event because of the backlash on social media. So they'll take our elders out of positions that can directly affect the community and replace them with people who are more agreeable. And that's one of many reasons why this matters, bro. And we need to break the dam on this and again, be able to have the conversation. And I know you rolled back I saw your Kyrie video, and it was on point. And your man Brandon Tatum also, he did a really dope one with the Charlemagne comparison. And so y'all get it, man. But it seems like when you dismiss all of that and you boil it down to just personal responsibility, it almost comes off as like, well, black people should keep tearing each other down and blaming ourselves before y'all even think about bringing up they who must not be named, you know? And if you don't call this out on its face now, you're basically complicit in the subjugation of black thought and speech. You're welcoming our dehumanization. And if they can do this to the exceptional Negro like Kyrie and Kanye, what do you think they'll do to us regular folks down here on the ground floor who you'll never hear about? You know, I've advocated personal responsibility time and time again on your show. You know, I work with kids. I teach my students personal responsibility every day as a youth mentor. I wasn't out here caping for St. George Floyd. You know, I'm not a BLM guy. I'm not a blame the white man guy. You know, and I feel like you know that, but you should know that by now, and your audience should know that by now. And so that whole reframing of what people are saying to try to dodge a point, that's what the mainstream guys do, bro. Like, that ain't why we come to you. You feel me?
All right,
like,
but check it out. But hold on.
Yeah,
now check it out. Hold on. Now, here's the thing. That's my opinion about it being the same argument, because I could say, okay, well, the white people, they took this person out of a position of power, then they put somebody else in. It's the same argument about the white man, really. It's the same thing, because at the end of the day, if we see that this is going on, that we are being subjugated and we're not allowed to have our voices, at what point do we say, okay, let's not even worry about them and what they're going to do and how they're treating us? We know that it's not good. We know that it's not right. How about we do things for ourselves without them? That's my point.
So how do you propose doing that with a situation where, you know, like that got brought up with a person, a black person, an elder getting kicked off of something like a school board that's kind of like very directly involved in the community.
Okay.
You know,
now, but a school board. Okay, now school board, you can vote people on the school board, right?
Yes.
So there's a solution
so
right there.
Wait till the next.
Okay, but
Yeah,
I mean, it won't be. Hold on. You talk for a long time. I want to respond to you while you on here.
No,
so
I understand.
hold on. Talk
you.
for a long time. I want to respond to you while you're right here. So it's not like I said something afterward. But the thing is,
I got you.
Okay, so the thing is, we can elect. It might not be overnight. It might not be an immediate fix. Like, okay, there's a problem. We go out there and fix it tomorrow, and it's totally fine. You just go and say, okay, if I'm not being treated right, if I'm not represented properly, we change it. We put, quote unquote, our own people on there, and then we can fix it that way. That's how you go about that, to not even have to be dealing with people that are on the outside, subjugating you, removing you, or whatever it is. That's why, because I already been down this road talking about this before many years ago, and that's what I came to as a solution to the problem. You see, doesn't that make sense though?
Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You know, I understand how with the worldview that you have, you're more politically, you believe in the political system a little bit more than me. I'm gonna just be frank with you. So from your worldview, I totally get that. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I understand that is a reasonable response, right? But, you know, all I'm saying is, man, like, you know, I gave up everything to stand up against COVID tyranny, bro. You know, when I called in, I was in like the darkest place in my life. And that's why I respect you so much for giving us a platform, man, because, you know, I understand personal responsibility. You know, I'm one of the people you claim you respect who stood up to all this stuff and at great personal risk and sacrifice to myself. You feel me? So, like, I understand that, man. But, you know, I just felt like I just wanted to clear the air because, you know, like I said, I got respect for you and it's all love, but I couldn't let you get that little Euro step layoff on me, bro. Like, I'm a genuine dude and I just appreciate the mutual respect. So it's much love to you, man. Always. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, and shout out my man Caius Posthumous, man. I see you, bro. Y'all have a good night, all right?
Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, peace.
Peace. Shout out to the caller. That was a good little exchange right there. I like that. Shout out to him. All right, let's go to 765 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what up, baby? This is Jason. How you doing?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. I had a quick question for you.
All righty.
All right, so the whole thing with Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah.
I always wanted to know your thoughts are, you know, Jeremy Lim a couple years ago had some issues with people being, you know, saying racist things to him on the basketball courts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then last year you had Luka Doncic had some things go up with him about, you know, some racist things towards him. But, you know, nothing happened to those players. Those players, good to go, got a little slap on the hand. They're back out there the next day. But, you know, with Kyrie, you know, they're punishing him. You know, I want to know what your thoughts are on this kind of situation. Where you see, again, the picking and choosing on who gets to be kind of, you know, pushed to the side and gets to be made an example of.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. And I think that with Kyrie Irving, it's a lot. I think one of the main things is that he already kind of disobeyed the NBA with the whole vaccine thing. That was the first straw, in my opinion. So it was already like a bad taste in their mouth. People already had a negative opinion. The media didn't like him. They called him an idiot back then, said he was low IQ, trying to be a smart guy. They already said that back last year. So now we have a continuation. They're taking what he did and they're blowing it up to a big proportion because they already don't like him. So, okay, I don't like this guy already. He's trying to be a smart guy. He puts this out here. I'm going to just reach and say he's anti-Semitic because I don't like him already. So I think that's kind of what it is. They don't like him already, and he puts something out there that they can kind of see as somehow offensive to some people. So it makes it worse since they already don't like him.
Right. But again, I think we both probably would agree that, there's some picking and choosing on what they want to, punish people for. If it's an Asian guy, a white guy on the court getting, ridiculed, racist comments said on the court, turned a blind eye. But if it's, another group of people being mentioned, even off the court, punishment needs to be handed down, suspensions possible, booted from the NBA. It's just kind of, the favoritism, it's just kind of, so painfully obvious. But aside from you and from a few others, a lot of people aren't saying that out loud, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I understand.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. You have a good one, brother.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate you.
Yep, you have a one.
All right, shout out to the caller. The phone lines are blowing up. Y'all are really blowing me up. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. And y'all please hang tight while I try to get the phones answered. I will get to y'all as soon as I possibly can. 262, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is CJ.
Say it's who now?
CJ.
All right, what's going on?
Not much. I was watching that, what was it, that Pelosi thing?
Yeah,
and
Paul Pelosi.
that Miguel, that reporter, that Miguel Agu, whatever his name is, I don't know his last name, how to say it.
Right.
But when he talks really funny when the camera's not on him. But every time they put the camera on him, he starts talking more normal. Have you ever noticed that?
I've not seen him with the camera off him.
Oh, they'll talk to him and he'll be reporting, and then all of a sudden they put the camera on him and he doesn't talk the same. And that's really bizarre. Once you notice that, you'll have a hard time. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, I didn't notice it before.
That other one, I heard people were playing that movie that he got in trouble for, and then I heard that they were the networks were trying to make deals with Amazon or something. They were networking to get sponsorship or something, some business dealings, but they didn't care that they were selling the book he commented on. And then all I heard he said was because he's a star, or he's got a lot of followers, but all he said was he was going to watch the movie. That's all I got out of. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, so much for freedom of thought, freedom of expression, And then those are the same people that said that white power thing. And I'm almost 50 years old and white. And when I saw that, I bet I went a month asking every white person I've seen if they ever heard that before. And none of them ever, they all thought it meant okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that whole thing was totally crazy. I mean, it's just a weird time that we're in right now.
The Defamation League is defamating on people while they're saying they're the Anti-Defamation League. And then if he does pay them, they're just going to, I don't know, it's like some crazy person is behind it or something. I don't understand the Wizard of Oz logic. You know what I mean? I try and figure out a demographic that they might be like, and I'm like, I don't even know who that would be. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just out there. But yeah, other than that, I just wanted to, I thought that was really hypocritical. Oh, and then the other thing is something you said I don't necessarily agree with, and I get in a lot of, it's controversial, but I am for hate speech. I'm not obviously if you're there's a time and a place for everything, but I don't know. I think it was R. Kelly who said it's a thin line between love and hate. I almost think they're close. There's some truth to that. You know what I mean? And I don't care if it's the guy you that you dunk at the fair, you know, who kind of talks smack and gets you pissed. But I don't know. And then, because what'll happen is then any kind of criticism, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't hate people, but I don't like certain habits of certain, you know what I mean? Any criticism, it's really bizarre. But I think maybe if you write a book or something, but like TV in general, when you're sitting around, it should be general audience, you know, everything that they broadcast to us via the television. Unless you're staying up late on the cable channels. But I think if you look back in this country's history, everybody hated somebody somewhere, some point in time.
Right. I'm with you, man. Well, I got a few more calls on the line, so thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. I always appreciate you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Shout out to the caller. And let's get to some more here. Let's go to 559. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, Patrick from California. How's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, man. How was your Halloween?
Oh, it was good. Real chill. Not too much going on.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's good. Good to hear. I was just wondering what your take on Gavin Newsom saying Fox News and the right was basically responsible for creating a culture around the attack on Paul Pelosi. And do you believe that this is an underlining narrative that he is potentially using to possibly purge the state of California of the right, conservative Republican votes, and possibly sway the voter opinion to his favor come midterms and I guess from here on out?
Well, I mean, anything that he says that's negative against the right, of course, is going to be used to his favor to try and get people to vote for him, of course. I mean, at this point, anything he says is just him trying to run for president in 2024. It doesn't even, like, you can't take anything he says seriously at all because you already know what time it is. So, yes, anything that he says right now is getting prepared for 2024.
I think that, well, I totally agree with you 100%. And I think that this is a big warning for everybody. Remember that this is the guy that runs the state of California like a totalitarian Chinese dictatorship of Mao. He suspended the Constitution and locked everybody up in their homes. He is no good for the ideals and values of this country. And somebody like Gavin Newsom as president that is coherent and still somewhat young, but just as devious and evil as Joe Biden. You wait and see what type of person that would be at the helm in charge of this country. That would be your worst nightmare. And so I just hope that everybody, including their mother, their grandma, and their dog, goes out to the polls this midterms and vote these people out. It's projected that 3 seats possibly in Congress will flip in California. And all I can say is bring it, baby, with that California red wave. It's coming. Trump Republicans is a grassroots movement, and it's definitely showing change if we can flip those 3 seats. So God bless the ABL. Thank you so much for taking my phone call. I appreciate the conversation as always. God bless our 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. We love you, sir. We can't wait to have you back. And God bless the United States of America. You take care, sir.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it. Great call. Yeah, anything Gavin Newsom says right now, anything he says or does is him getting prepared for 2024. That's all. We all know that at this point. 601, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
I'm good. I feel like am I echoing?
Nah, I heard you fine, boss.
All right, bet. Yeah, what's up, man? It's Justice. It's been a while since I talked to you.
Yeah. No doubt, man.
What
How's
you been up to, though?
I mean, everything's been good, man. Just getting things done. Can't complain too much. How about yourself?
I'm good. You know, last time we talked, we were talking about Topgolf, right? So I know this doesn't have anything to do with your channel, but we went to Baton Rouge last week, me and my girl, and they put us on the first floor. That was so disrespectful. So I know what you mean now.
Yeah, it's
when
like
you was talking about the first floor.
it ain't the same, man. I need to be up, man. First floor is just like, what am I doing? It's putt golf.
Bro, I couldn't even see the color, so like I had to look at. So when I would hit it, I had to look at the TV real quick to see where it went because I hit pretty far, so I couldn't see where it was going because mine's always curved to the side. I'm not no Tiger Woods or anything like that, but anyways, hey, I want to talk to you. So, you know, I'm a police officer, and all that. You know, I'm here at USM, and you know, about the Brett Favre situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or as we're saying here, Check Favre. We're calling him Check Favre. A lot of people are dressed up as Brett Favre here at Halloween here in Hattiesburg. So, you know, that's where he lives in.
Right.
Just a school and the volleyball center. You know, I got a YouTube channel and people are telling me to record the volleyball center, like go inside of the building and everything like that. And I was really thinking about it, but I ain't need my chief coming up to me and be like, "Hey, take that video down."
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want them problems, nah.
Yeah, I know, right? And the bad thing is, I know Brett Favre personally. You know, I see him at Target. He's talked to me. His daughter went here. She went to my high school too, Oak Grove and everything. So I know him, but I hope he's not watching this live chat. That would suck.
Right.
But
right.
but anyways, how do you feel about them not talking about Brett Favre? Like, you know, like allegedly. And I knew the situation back when I started working at USM in 2020. You know, I was 22 years old in 2020, and you know, started here. And people are talking about the situation like at his volleyball center. You know, it just got built in like 2019. Brett Favre used money that wasn't given to him. That was in 2020, and they're just now talking about it on national news in mid 2022. But you know, they're worried about Kyrie Irving, about him posting, you know, stuff that he didn't even create. But they're talking about that. Same with the Boston Celtics coach. They faced off of him now, but they were talking about that when Brett Favre's situation was going on. And Kanye, do you feel like that's just to talk about their situations that really don't even affect people? Like, they don't really affect us, but versus somebody who's allegedly taking $5 million that was supposed to go to federal funding for low-income areas here in Mississippi.
Well, I think what happened there is that if they talk about Brett Favre and that money, that opened a can of worms, because that whole thing with the misappropriation of federal funds is not uncommon. And a lot of political people, regular normies, they do it. So I think what's going on is that Brett Favre has dirt on them. So if they want to blow him up, it's like, okay, I'll take y'all down with me. That's my opinion. I can't really see another reason why that wouldn't be covered, because the media loves to see some conservative kind of white guy get thrown up under the bus, right? Brett Favre is not seen as a guy that votes left or is a liberal. You see what's going on right now with Trump. Anybody associated with, they it's like every day, if a guy gets put over at a traffic stop and he has an expired tag, that's going to be frontline news for a week if he's like affiliated with Trump or somehow conservative. So I think Brett Favre has dirt on people, and they don't want to dig too deep and really expose that too much, because then that's going to expose them. That's my opinion about it.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because they're not talking about it too much here. Like, you know, there's rumors around here at USM talking about, like, you know, he gives money to USM, so they don't want to throw down. So
exactly,
our local news station, WDAM, they don't even talk about him too much. They only talk about them when we're on ESPN. Like they USM just offered to have our volleyball center used for state purposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would mean, like, if little youth programs wanted to come play the volleyball center or something like that, I guess is what they mean. So obviously USM knows that, hey, we had to do something, because if it blows out too much, then, you know, we might be cooked. But at the end of the day, they're not talking about it too much, to be honest with you.
Right.
But besides him, how do you feel about Kyrie Irving in general, like what he's doing? I know I saw your video, but you didn't make a video about him being suspended for 5 games as well, which he had got right after the $500K announcement.
Yeah. I think it's just overkill. I think they already got a problem with Kyrie Irving. I think they're just getting too out of line for them to, for their pleasure. So they're trying to just get him back in. That's really what it is, and make an example out of him. It's like, okay, you're gonna do what we say or else. That's kind of what's going on, because it started with the whole vaccine thing. It started with that, and then it's become more with this here. So I think that's kind of what's going on. I think it's ridiculous. He didn't even do anything wrong. He said he loves everybody. He's not a racist person, so this shouldn't be happening to him. It's definitely overkill. The whole anti-Semitic thing is not even a thing. He didn't do anything, so definitely overkill. And then there's like a list of things that they want him to do before he gets reinstated after the suspension. So I think it's just too much. They might end up cutting him or trying to cut him, even though he has a contract.
Cutting Kyrie is gonna be like cutting LeBron.
Yeah, for real. Exactly.
Is Kyrie Nation of Islam?
I don't think so. I can't say yes or no on that. I don't know, but I don't think so.
Huh.
No, I've seen him. I've seen him with certain kind of jewelry on. He's wearing like Ankhs, if you know what that is. He's wearing that. That's not Nation of Islam type regalia. So I don't think it's part of Nation of Islam. If he was in the Y, it'd be like the little crescent with the star, which is Muslim stuff.
Yeah, not Nation of Islam. I'm sorry, not Nation of Islam. I meant Israelites.
I don't know. I think he's kind of in that direction. He's kind of leaning toward that, but I don't know if he's like identifying as Hebrew Israelite. But if anything, it'd probably be more. If I had to guess and just speculate, I would say he probably would be closer to that than Nation of Islam.
Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about Twitter real quick.
Well, real quick, because we got time. So real quick, boss.
All right then. So Elon Musk, $8 a month for a verified check. Now I saw your video. I just watched it before I watched your live. You was talking about how a lot of people get trolled, but if you had to pay $8 a month, do you see a lot of people being verified maybe in a year or 2 years later down the road, like having to pay for verification? Do you find that just?
I think it makes sense, because the thing is, people were already paying for verification, but they were paying exorbitant money. They were paying $15,000, $20,000, $12,000 to become verified. So $8 a month is nothing compared to what they were paying before, and also it's not a lot of money. If you're talking about how much is a cup of coffee at Starbucks, that's not a lot. If you're using Twitter for official purposes, like you're a journalist or something, then you have that money to be able to spend. If you're just a regular normie, you won't be verified anyway. If you have a big following like that, you make money off of that following some kind of way. So you're going to need to pay that money.
Yeah, because I was wondering about people like you and me. Like, I'm not going to say how much you make because I'm not too sure, but I make around $1,500 on YouTube, right? And even me, they won't even verify me, and I got a pretty decent follow. I get 200, 300K views a month.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think he's paying $8 a month, like for somebody like me,
No, see, the thing is, people kind of misunderstand the whole thing. You still got to go through the process of becoming verified. So, for example, on YouTube, you might not be able to be verified right now because of your following or whatever the case may be. Paying money wouldn't change that at all. You still have to go through the same process and then pay money to become verified. So the average person would not even worry about this because it wouldn't affect them. They would still use the platform as normal for free. But if you are a person with a big following, you make a living on Twitter, or you have a big presence on Twitter, then you could pay for the blue check if you wanted it. That's kind of how that goes. And I think most guys that make a lot of money, that have a big following, they would pay it. It wouldn't be a problem. But thank you for the call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, you too, man. I'll see you later.
All right, now.
All right, bet.
All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, if you're a normie just on Twitter, you're not going to pay no money for Twitter. If you are a person with a big following, you got a million followers. You see what I'm saying? If you got that kind of following on Twitter, you have a platform that's very valuable. Very valuable. So you can pay for the $8. I would pay it. I'll most certainly pay for it, for sure, because that's valuable. Social media is very valuable. And also, if you're a big, if you have a big following, you want to cut down on people that are trying to impersonate you and trolls and things of that nature. So that definitely could do that. Absolutely. Yeah. So you still have to go through a process to become verified. They wouldn't just say, oh, okay, $8, you become verified. That's not how it's going to work. Because anybody would get a badge and just do different scams and trolls and stuff like that. They would sign up for 1 month, pay $8 and go out there and try to steal stuff. That's not how the whole process would work. Let's keep on rocking here. 856 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, is this ABL?
Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, it's speaking to Miles Davis. How's everything going tonight?
It's all good, boss. About yourself?
Good. Hey, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to tell you this, right? So, see, I have a job where I go to people's door to door. I believe I told you this last time, but I'll tell you anyway. I go to door and convince people to vote for John Fetterman.
Yeah.
And Josh Shapiro. So basically, the job I'm working for, apparently, what a lot of people have been complaining about, there's been issues with them paying people. So, I mean, it's kind of ironic that everything with that's run by a Democrat always manages to treat people poorly.
Very, very interesting. So they got a problem trying to pay people out of that money for the job that they were doing, going door to door.
Yeah, you're talking about 8 hours on the street, on your feet all day from 12 to at least 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And you have to ask for a break. And pretty much, yeah. And it's like, well, what the job is saying, if they send something to your email, you don't fill out a form, you don't get paid. I was like, well, you already have my information that you took down the first day we signed up. So I'm not understanding, and I don't think we were ever told about a form that was sent to our email that we had to fill it out.
That sounds kind of shady to me. So did you not get paid?
For the one day, I did not get paid. I wasn't the only person that did not get paid for the one day. Today, they just now switched it to, instead of paying weekly, they're now paying daily. They decided just to pay every day. You work that day, you get paid that day. So we were talking to ourselves, well, why can't the last day that you worked, they just give you another check for that? Because you only worked the same amount of hours you worked last time. But sounds like to me I ain't gonna be here any longer because they want us to convince people to vote for John Fetterman and Josh Shapiro and support them. So all these other Democrats is registered, but then can you treat your employees right? And it's not the first time this has happened. And I'm not talking about with me, but as far as other people.
Yeah,
then there's a lot of miscommunication. They got you coming all the way out there thinking you're going to get paid. You got to come pick up your paycheck. But it was like, when I come out there, oh, well, we don't have your paychecks. You got to wait for your text message. You got to wait for us to send you a text message when the paychecks are ready. Well, what kind of job is this? I don't think I'm going to be here any longer. That just makes me want to leave. I had to remind them. I was like, listen, I don't work for free. No pay, no work. Sorry, bye. So I got another job anyway, so I'm not pressed about it at all. Yeah, but that's just one job I feel like I could just do without.
Right on, man. Like,
so yeah,
I'm with you.
No, go ahead. Say what you're about to say.
No, I'm about to say I'm with you, man. Right on. So, you can leave that whole Fetterman thing alone. And Fetterman, that's not really a good thing. You can't pay your people. That's not how we do things. I'm sure he has plenty of money. So I wonder where the money's really going. Like, what's happening? You buying turtlenecks and hoodies and whatnot to cover your neck? Like, I don't know what's going on. Pay people, man. So I'm glad you're able to get something else and keep on rocking here.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. But I'll tell you this: it got so bad to the point that one guy threatened to come shoot the place up because he didn't get his money. So they had to relocate and move to another location. They said, if anybody on the site gives up the location, you will not be working for us no more, ever.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, he threatened to come shoot the place up if he didn't get his money. So they had to move to another location because of that, because he was constantly calling and threatening. So, and then eventually they finally settled it when they finally gave him his money, and they haven't seen him ever since.
Well, I guess what he did work, huh? Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. Well, hey, when it comes down to money and work, and that's just, I mean, that's one way to get under somebody's skin. You have somebody working, you don't pay them. That's that's the best way to cause problems.
That's right.
Shoot, but one woman told me sometimes you might have to just get, when it comes down to them kind of situations, sometimes it's best to get a lawyer involved.
Right.
Yeah, but thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you, boss.
All right, have a good one.
Same to you. Wow. Fetterman, what's going on, man? You ain't paying your people? People out there threatening you, talking about, hey, man, you don't get my money, it's gonna be spoken in the city. A lot of furniture moving, a lot of stuff going on. You don't give me my money. Oh, well, hey, that's what you get when you're dealing with the left. You know what I mean? High promises without too much follow through. 203 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My brother from another mother.
What's happening?
How you doing, ABL?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Nothing much, man. Miss talking to you, man. Good to hear from you.
Oh, no doubt, man. Likewise.
Yo, think of me as Morpheus right now. I'm about to pull a Yeezy / Alex Jones on you.
Alrighty.
So check it out. I think Kyrie. I mean, you know that Kanye is a Christian, right? At least professing Christian.
Yes.
And I think Kyrie is around the same line of thinking. I think he's around that standpoint of view. And I know with the whole vaccine thing, I don't know if you know, but Kyrie was actually catching some flack. They were kind of like doing low key a couple of years back, even before the whole COVID thing, where he was professing to be a flat earther. Did you know about that?
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, do you believe in the Bible, bro?
Do I believe in the Bible? I mean, I think that the Bible has a lot of good stories in it. But I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure that I believe everything is 100% correct in the Bible, but I do believe that a lot of what the Bible has in it can be applied to your everyday life.
Absolutely, 100%, man. Well, check this out. There's in the beginning of Genesis, man, when God was creating the world and all that, he said he separated the waters above from the waters below. And like 70% of the earth is water. And when you look up at the sky, it looks like water, right? So I find it interesting because I think that was really the beginning of when they started coming after Kyrie. I don't think it was necessarily with the whole vaccine thing. That was just a catapult to it. It was just like adding on, it was stacking up. Because one thing for sure, right before Trump came into office, I don't know if you know this, but they were scrubbing the whole web on any information that you could find in regards to that. And I found that interesting, and I kind of like put it on the back burner because I was like, man, this is the 21st century. Look at all the technology and whatnot, right? But one thing that struck me is that, you ever heard of the term predictive programming?
Yes.
So like they'll use like the media and social media to like kind of like get people prepared. So like whatever debaucheries that they're trying to do, like kind of like people are just more willing to accept it. They pay it no mind. And what I found is that around that time, did you know that one of the YouTube board members went before Congress, and Congress was asking this lady, I can't remember her name, forgive me, but they were asking her, what do you guys plan on doing in regards to censoring this whole flat earth movement stuff? Which to me, I would be like, if there's no validity in it, why are you making any gripes about it?
Right, I understand.
Right? But also, I just want to ask you one more thing. So here's an example, and you can look this up yourself. I'm going to send you some links and some stuff via your email and some still shots that I have as well. Do you like Marvel movies?
Yes.
So, okay, so I'm going to tie these two together, right? You know the Agenda 21?
I've heard of it.
Right, so it has like all the same players, like the Georgie Porgy, aka George Soros, and the Rockefellers, and all of them, right? So, in in Captain America, back literally, they always do things in like decades. They have the scene where Captain America, Chris Evans, wakes up from a coma and he's in Times Square. And behind him, you literally see the coronavirus and the corona. And when you Google it, it's literally the exact same picture. And then on the stock exchange, which is very interesting how that's playing out now, it says it's pretty much a cybernetic index to monitor 8 billion users. So that's what I mean. I'm like, I don't think in regards to Kyrie with what he's saying, even with the book, with the anti-Semitism, as they allege, I don't think it's so much that. I think that there's really a great awakening of people, like, because information is flowing so fast, they can't catch up to it. So, you know, when you have someone like Kyrie, who's a star, and he has a huge platform, they have to squash him down because, you know, in the Bible.
Right, I got you. I mean, I'm gonna cut you off right here, but I got a few more calls on the line. I got to get to. Second for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem, brother. Have a great night.
All right, same to you. All right, shout out to the caller. But I'm gonna comment about that whole thing about the waters above and below. See, I got my own opinion about the Earth and how the oceans were formed and how the Earth is. I believe in the small Earth theory, meaning the Earth has gained mass, therefore becoming bigger from the core. The core expands like the sun expands. Like they said the sun's going to expand bigger and bigger. The quote unquote science said the sun's going to get bigger and bigger. I feel like the core of the Earth is like a sun itself, and it expands. And as it expands, so does the Earth. You get a bunch of space dust and whatnot from outside, and then the inside, you got new Earth created from the core. That's why you have all this stuff at the rift, the ocean rift. You can see a rift on the map. I'm gonna get too deep, but basically, once you have the rift on the ocean floor, that's new land being created. And they'll tell you that. They'll say the land close to the continental shelf is older than the land close to the rift. And the continental shelf is the oldest land. Why is the continental shelf older than the ocean floor? It's because the ocean floor is newer than the continental shelf. On the continental shelf, when it was all one, they all fit together on a smaller Earth. There was no ocean. There was no Pangea or nothing like that. It was one Earth. That's why they all fit together like that. When the rift happened, you had subterranean water that came from up under, from below, up above, that created the oceans. That's my opinion. You could just see it. You could see the way that the continents are, the way everything is broken up. You could see it. You know, that's why you have, that's why you got these random black people in the middle of the ocean in Pacific Island. How did they get out there? Where they got on the boat and went from Africa to Tonga or something? It's because those islands broke up from a larger mass that was at one point joined together. That's what happened. But I digress. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And let's go to, all right. Hold on one second. Let's go 412. You don't know who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL.
All right, what's happening, boss?
What's up, bro? All right, this is Jay up in 412. I got a quick question. Let me make it quick. Did you hear about Biden signing the Chip Science Act?
You said the what now?
Did you hear about Biden signing the Chip Science Act?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I was watching a clip a couple of days ago. I don't think I sent it to you on Instagram, but he signed the Chip Science Act. Basically, he's stating that everybody got to get the chip, and we just got to get the chip like everybody else in China. Did any listeners ever hear that?
Well, I mean, I guess I got the answer, but I've never heard about that. I mean, that's interesting, though. So you talking about a chip that goes in, like in your hand, like a physical, in your body type chip?
Yeah. Yeah, because he said the kids, require a chip to even go to the store.
Okay.
So I think he's selling us out to China, like I've been hearing rumors or whatever. But yeah, he was it the Chip Science Act.
Okay, so yeah, I gotta look into it. I've not heard about that at all, so I'll check it out and see what's going on with it for sure.
Okay, thank you, bro. I'm gonna let everybody else come in.
I thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, peace.
So he was saying the chip science, something about the chips. I gotta see what that is. I guess talking about, like I said, talking about getting chips in your hand, and you could just, like Apple Pay or whatever, just do what you got to do. So yeah, I'm not putting no chip on my body. We ain't doing that. Yeah, we're not doing that at all. We can't operate that way. But the number to call is 434-658-1220. Mystery Max says it's for semiconductors. Okay. All right. Like I said, I don't know too much about that particular act. I had to look it up. But for semiconductors, it's not for going inside your body. Yeah, we can't be putting chips in your body. That's not really gonna fly too much. 614, don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. I'm calling in to kind of provide some insight and wanted to see, really kind of explaining the origin of the anti-Semitic ideology, and because it's being mentioned a lot related to Kyrie Irving, and it's important. I think people can kind of connect the dots and they can understand why that is. So wanted to kind of start with the Babylonian Talmud. In the Babylonian Talmud, there's a reference on and I don't know if you've heard this before, someone spoke on it, but stop me if I'm repeating anything. But there's a reference of a curse being on the descendants of Ham. And so Ham is the son of Noah. Noah was drunk. Ham saw Noah, and there was shame that was brought upon Noah. And as a result, there was a curse on Ham. This is actually in the book of Genesis in the regular King James Version Bible that Christians carry. However, the Babylonian Talmud goes into, which is Jewish literature, goes into more detail on what this curse was. And so there's various variations of curses manifesting by color. The Mormons, they have their version as far as sons of God, the Seth and Cain and Abel and that type of thing. That's a different story. But related to this curse in the Babylonian Talmud, it says their skin shall be dark, their eyes will be red, their nose shall be wide, and they shall be called negroid, which means desolate and without. And so that was in the Babylonian Talmud, is in the Babylonian Talmud. As a result of this, you wonder why Christianity in the South there were Christians, but they were racist. You had the clans and whatnot. And so as a seminary school graduate, I'm familiar with being taught and sitting in Bible classes as this literature is being handed out to expound upon, well, this is God's will that Black people are oppressed because this is something that was carried over from Judaism. So when Kyrie is referencing racism, he's not making this up because this is embedded in the very fundamental doctrines of Judaic literature, which then carries over into Christian literature, which is why you had a lot of, racism, slavery, apartheid, segregation, all that stuff happened. And it was the fundamental base of Christianity, because they would say, well, this is God's will being manifested. I would challenge even some of your listeners if they would speak to maybe their grandparents or their parents, and they would definitely say, and I've had friends that were older that recall having these types of conversations and being taught about this type of doctrine within the Christian church, where the origin of this is found in the Babylonian Talmud. You can look it up. It's there. So I just wanted to kind of add a little bit more color to that. So when it's thrown out, hey, this is racist or whatever the case may be, or whatever, there's context to that, and there's actually citations that's found within, not only just Jewish literature, but Christian doctrine, Mormonism. I mean, it's pretty habitual when you get into those types of religious faith. So I just wanted to kind of expound a little bit on that.
Well, thank you for the call, man. That's definitely some good information to know, because a lot of people don't really know about all of that. They just want to hear Kyrie Irving talk and immediately dismiss him. So I'm glad you added some context to what he's saying, because that's important.
Yeah, yes, it is. All right. Thank you so much. And hey, I'm a big listener. Thank you for what you do, man. Keep it up.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Added some context to it. I mean, hey. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, man. This Kyrie Irving situation is really a reflection of the failures of the black community, man. Because, as we can see, black people are not unified at all, man. The black NBA players are not unified. They are what I call, they are fake revolutionaries. LeBron James is a clown. I saw that clown. He was getting interviewed today. He was asked about the Kyrie Irving situation. And, he said that he doesn't support hate. And he said he lends his platform for the voice of the people. I can tell that this man is a liar, because if he lends his platform to the voice of the people are always unanimously against the media. You know what I'm saying? The voice of the people were not siding with Kyrie Irving being banned for 5 months and having to be educated on something that he wasn't supporting. So it's funny because, like I said, these guys act like they are this pro-black unified thing, but they know what was going on with Kyrie, and they were like, you know what, they could have took a stand, but they know who's boss, and they needed their money. So Kyrie can't stand alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at this whole situation. I'm like, okay, the guy apologized. The man is also donating money. Not only that, for a post that he didn't even say nothing on. He didn't give any context when he apologized. And they're making him look like he's some racist towards the untouchables. That's all I'm saying. They are making him seem like he's a racist towards the untouchables. And the guy sat there and he took accountability. Now, for them to still be like, well, even though you are apologizing, and even though you are paying money, we're still going to punish you. You're still going to have to go through some education. At this point, I feel like they are emasculating this man. That's what I think, because It's like, wait a minute. The punishment does not fit the crime. Like, the guy is not like calling out anyone specifically. Now, he may have ignorantly posted a video that he wasn't, knowledge on, but he did admit in a press conference, he said that things that were said about the untouchable people, I definitely take issue with and disagree with. So the fact that they're not accepting his money shows that this is like, to me, it looks like a lesson to any other NBA player or any other, hey, there's some people that, you can't say anything, and it's just what it is, man. But when I just look at this entire situation, I just don't see, black folks are not unified, bro. And we spend all this time, and this is most of our fault, because we spent the majority of our time fighting for social justice. That's all we talk about. We focus on white supremacy and cops. There is no focus in the mainstream black community on economics, building institutions, and working together. So when you spend your whole time on BS, then you're going to realize why you ain't got no power, and you're always apologizing, and your people aren't unified, because the majority of your people are owned and dominated. Like I said, like LeBron James, fake Jay-Z, who's trying to be woke all the time, fake Diddy, fake Charlamagne. If you listen to these clowns, every time they talk about politics, they speak in politics in a pro-white liberal. Like you would think they sound like some pro-white liberal female. These are not men speaking on black issues. They are just putting a black spin on it. So my thing is, I hope the black community is waking up against this. We have a lot of frauds. We have a lot of fake intellectuals. The majority of our celebrities are just controlled opposition. They're not fighting for the best interests of the black community. They're not fighting to make you more money. They are fighting to keep you in the Democrat Party. They are fighting to keep you emotional, and they are fighting to hold back any African American man who is trying to wake you up. There's going to be a House Negro of who will always attack any African American man, especially on the left, more than on the left than the right, who will attack an independent African American man who is trying to wake black people up to new ideas to better their community. That's all I got to say, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Wow. I mean, I can't really add too much more on that, actually. And I'm almost out of time here. I may have time for one more call, but that was a great call from Tariq, so shout out to him. Let's try 918 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, baby? Yo, it's JB Scott from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, not a lot, man. Yeah, I know it's getting late, so I just wanted to say just a couple quick things. What I got through. And I'll tell you what, man. The retired Chicago police officer, man, the way he broke that down using his years of experience doing, detective and crime work. Oh my God, I felt like I was listening to Batman describe a crime scene.
Right.
I mean, everything he said made so much sense.
Yes.
It really did. It made so much more sense than anything that the media has said about this wild, wild story. Yeah, so that was really great the way he broke that down. I really thought that was awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to your Tuesday show. I just hope we have fair elections, and I mean, being that these are all state level elections, there's no reason we shouldn't have the results all in by that night. If we go back into 3 o'clock in the morning and they're saying that we're still getting ballots coming in, or we're still counting ballots, you just know there's going to be some funny business going on. So I hope that does not happen. And real quick, John Fetterman, I saw like a really short video of him on YouTube earlier today where he was making a speech. I think it might have been earlier today or yesterday. And he's up there, and he's got like a whole row of American flags behind him, right? Like 6 or 7. And a big gust of wind came in and blew them all over onto the ground. I mean, it was like, oh, if that's not symbolism, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that was definitely a symbolic moment for sure.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, John Fetterman with American flags falling down behind him, and he didn't even notice either. It was pretty sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you go, man. I know it's time's about up. So love you, man. Love everybody in the chat, and look forward to Tuesday.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, later, dude.
All right, that will be a wrap for me. Thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. I'll be back live again on Tuesday, okay? Wednesday, of course, as well for my regular live stream. But I'll be back live on Tuesday because we got the elections happening, and we're going to cover the results as they come in. We expect a red wave. We expect to take the Congress, meaning the House and the Senate. We're going to take both. And then we're going to take the White House in 2024 with whoever decides to run. They said that Trump is going to announce he's going to run on November the 14th. That's what I heard. That's what little birdie told me from a source over at Newsmax. That's what they say. So we'll see if that happens. But right now, let's focus on these midterm elections, having the red wave happen, and then we're going to be right back at it right after midterms. You're going to see Gavin Newsom. You're going to see a lot of guys throw their name in the ring, and they are going to try to become the next president of the USA. But we're going to take that White House back in 2024, and it's going to be crazy. If you thought this midterm was crazy with the Hunter Biden crack smoking tape that has now been deemed as right, the whole thing with the Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi, if you thought this midterm was crazy, Fetterman out there having a stroke, not knowing what's going on, it's going to be even crazier come 2024. And really, at the end of this year, it's going to start. You're going to see it start at at the end of this year, after the midterm elections is going to start, if Trump announces he's going to run in November, like if he says, I'm going to run this November, it's going to start and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a mess. But anyway, you guys are a great audience as always. I got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick and then I wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls out of the chat and everything nice and orderly in the chat room. I appreciate y'all for that. Couldn't do it without you. And if you've been watching, super chatting, whatever you're doing, I thank you. I most certainly couldn't and wouldn't be here without you. But let's go to the super chats right quick. Thank you to Friendship Lights, who says, will our vote get counted, ABL? Again, the voting is on a state-to-state level. So if there's any kind of funny business going on, you got to go to your state. Right here in Tennessee, we have strong laws. Georgia, you got strong laws. Florida, you got strong laws. Now, if you're living in California, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. I ain't even going to hold you. But it's up to us to make these laws be what they're going to be. It's up to us to be observers and to make sure that our state has election go properly. There's no funny business going on. No malarkey, as your man would say. As your man Joe Biden would say, no malarkey. All right. Thank you to Matt H, who says, ABL, have you seen the bees? Oh, I read that one. Let me make sure I'm on the right thing here. JP Irvine says, good night, everybody. Just kidding. Talking about Fetterman. Hey, ABL, has there been any preventative measures put into place as far as dead people voting this time around? Thanks, ABL. Again, it's a state issue. Where I live, absolutely. In other parts of the country, absolutely. But California, I'm not really sure about that. And we know why. Thank you to Peter version 1, who says, hello, first super chat, 2 questions. Where did you get those flags? Those are on bhedesigns.com. Link will be in the description. And the next question is, and do you blame both sides for the problems in the U.S. is facing? I do, because corruption. Not really. It's more of a left thing. You might have some guys on the right, but I don't really. I think it's really just a left thing. What's going on right now? I mean, who's in charge? It's left. You got a left-controlled Congress and a left-controlled White House. So things that are going on right now are their fault, in my opinion. Thank you to Daniel Orr, who says, Pennsylvania Senate race update. Dr. Oz has just overtaken Fetterman by 2% in the latest polls. Among people who saw or heard about the debate, Oz leads by 14. Wow. Thank you to Dent Machine Company, who says, what about Uncle Joey wanting all electric vehicles by 2035? John Kerry was on about that nonsense. Oh, that ain't going to happen. It could happen, but you got to have the technology that is going to, you got to have technology to support it. And as of right now, the technology is not there to support that kind of thing. Okay. How are we going to, we're worried about diesel fuel right now. So, if we have no diesel fuel, that's going to be a problem. How are you going to be able to eat if trucks can't get from point A to point B with no diesel fuel? That's going to be a serious problem. So if we can't even really supply what we need right now, how are we going to get to the point of development and innovation to replace that? It doesn't make any sense. We got to be able to do what we have right now and then move forward with proper innovation and technology that'll get us to the point of zero emissions and all that good stuff and all electric. And then the thing is, how will we supply the electricity? Dirty coal, gas, fracking, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, they get to Charles Wise, who says, LeBron made a statement about the Kyrie situation saying he doesn't condone any kind of hate speech. Ironic considering the whole "you're next" post. Right, exactly. Remember that? They get to Cal Denson, who says, I tell the first caller to not cancel Nike as a co-founder is actively supporting the GOP to take the governor spot in Oregon. Well, there we go. They get Boat versus Windshield, who says, Oregon, vote Drazen. Let's break the blue stranglehold on the West Coast. Vote Drazen for governor. Well, I guess that's who that is, right? Drazen. They get to Atomic Tabasco, who says, vote, 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 red wave. They get to Raymond G. Stanley Jr., who says, no amnesty, no compromise, no mas. Forward the line. There we go. So you guys have been a great audience, but that'll be a wrap for me. And until next time, which is Tuesday, November the 8th, election night, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.